I need that sports encyclopedia. Where you at, Steve Kim? Got Trent in the cut.
What up, man? The real Coach JB. My main man, Big Smitty.
Are y'all ready for this?
Run like something to prove it. Came to a conclusion that it's Smitty and JB and Smitty from West Coast to your side, worldwide, we in your city. Keep it 150, we never change what's happening. Hurdle link
In any metric, Coach, you cannot have Russell Wilson.
Nick gave me my first offer. Like, you got to have that store. You got to be marketable.
Hockey, football, baseball, then basketball.
Oh, I love this fucking show so much, man. Are you mixing light and dark at 11 a.m.?
I'm elated that I can be able to coach, that I can be able to mentor these kids, and give them everything that I've learned over the last 20 years.
Smitty and Jason Brown, killed it, yeah, it's a rap. We what the game's been missing, we switched it and filled the gap. Smitty and Jason Brown, we killed it, yeah, it's a rap. We what the game's been missing, we switched it and filled the gap.
You are now tuned in to the Coach JB Show.
Hello? Can you hear me? Derek. Man, God, I hate this dang phone line, man. I'm sorry, JB. I spent all this dang money on this phone line, and the signal was horrible. I don't get it.
Guess what? All right, appreciate you. We got a new deal with Mint Mobile. I just saved your whole life in phone drama. Mint Mobile is now a new proud sponsor of the Coach JB Show with Big Smitty.
Stop playing.
Your problem's been solved.
We got a partnership with Mint Mobile? You talking about Ryan Reynolds, Mint Mobile? Stop playing right now. Hold on. Let me Google this real quick.
You can try mintmobile.com/CoachJB and get 3 months free when you use the promo code CoachJB.
Hey, man, I did a quick Google search real quick to make sure you wasn't playing around. They got plans as low as $15? They got plans for $30, unlimited everything. Speed, coverage, data, access to 5G, unlimited talk, text, mobile hotspots. You can talk in Mexico, talk in Canada, and they're built on the nation's largest 5G network. Are you kidding me, JB?
Hey, and everyone wants to know how hard it is to switch to your service. Big Wireless wants to think it's hard. They want you to think it's hard, Big Smitty, but switching to Mint is super easy thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most phones now have. You can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your own home. Mint Mobile does it all. Short, fat, skinny, and tall. That's why the Coach JB Show with Big Smitty is proud new sponsor using promo code CoachJB. Try mintmobile.com. This is where it's at. We got it, Big Smitty.
So, hey, I'm switching over to Mint Mobile right now, JB. I'm done with this company I'm working with. They crazy. The line it never works. The signal is out, and it costs too much money. I'm going over to Mint Mobile, JB, and y'all should do the same.
Big Smitty, I'm calling you right now.
JB, Mint Mobile.
Mint Mobile, clear as day. I hear you clear. The new promo code Coach JB right here, 3 months free. Mint Mobile, try mintmobile.com/CoachJB and get you there free. 3 months off, family deals, all deals, short, fat, skinny, and tall. Mint does it all. Proud new sponsor. Much love. We'll see you later. Peace. What up, man? We got a loaded lineup today. Don't trip. We're going to break this down. I'm on the mic again because the wireless was tripping a little bit, but it is T-Rich Thursday. Who better to have on than Trent Richardson? Join the show live for the simple fact that he is a Nick Saban disciple. He played there, obviously, one of the best running backs in Alabama history. He knows a lot of insight. Talked to him himself yesterday and his daughter. He's going to dive on the show in the first hour. So we're going to get some insight from T-Rich. Big Matt McChesney joins us. Steve Kim. We got a loaded lineup here on the Coach AB Show with Big Smitty. Pound the like button as you enter the door. We're the first thing smoking right out the gate. Before the McAfees of the world, before the big-time shows, we are the first live show, 6 a.m. Pacific, every single day. Don't miss it. Coach AB Show with Big Smitty. And we got a loaded lineup, man. Usually I'll give you the rundown, but let's get right to it. This show is brought to you by AQMS. Make sure you head on over there if you got any moving needs. Dial 1-888-233-3110. If you need to move your house, your car, your side chick, your side dick, anything you need to move, house, furniture, couch, whatever, dogs, cats, AQMS, 1-888-233-3110. Tell them JB sent you. All right, so let's bring in our own Far East Side, Naptown's finest, Ball State legend, Post Road, 317, Colts homer glass wearing, Lamar Jackson moose swinging, my main man. Clap it up for Big Smitty.
Yeah. Clap it up for Big Smitty, man. What's going on, y'all? It's a lock-loaded show. I'm making words up, man. We about to turn up, man. What's going on, Jazzy Jazz, Kelsey Dub? I see Jesse Lund. I see, is it Burrow Perry from the hood? Gene, we kind of cool now. We kind of cool. And then my main man, JB, what's going on, player?
Hey, I wanted to get you in right at the gate because there's so much to go through. We had 3 legends in the last 24 hours, basically call it quits. You call it coincidence. I call it plan. There ain't no reason in the world that you can come out here and think that this was a coincidence that 3 legends gave it up at the same time. I think it's planned. They're all pretty closely knitted, those 3 guys. They also are very calculated with what they do. And I think it's very calculated in all 3 facets on how everybody went about their business. Belichick waited to be the last one, which I think is calculated. I think this was a known thing all week long. Smitty's been calling this. He thought he was going to get out of there for the last few months. I also said that I thought, Dabo or Lane or one of those guys would be possibly in Bama at one point when Saban calls it quits. Yep. And I also said I wouldn't be shocked if Pete Carroll ends his legacy back at the college level. So there's 3 things going on here that we're going to break down, but I think it's very calculated on how they did it. I've got to speak to a few very, very prominent people involved in this thing, some legitimate, right the horse's mouth, some not. So we're going to dive in. I'll give you what I know that I can tell you, and I'll give you what my predictions will be where people land at certain jobs, because there's about 8 jobs open right now. So we're going to break it down. I love all the people, too, that Bill was fired. He didn't give it up. Shut up. You cats have you cats that never coached or played have zero respect for people that have been a monster in particular professions. You guys are the epitome of bottom feeders. Waller's relapse. You are a bottom feeder. You have no relevance on this planet.
Damn.
You're a nobody. You are an absolute nobody. Shut up. You are a nobody. Nobody cares what you have to think or say. And I don't either. And you're a bit. Like, frankly, you're a bit. So, anyway, this guy's set. Look at this. I mean, you can't have a bigger fucking bottom feeder picture, name. I mean, it's unbelievable. But anyway, let's dive into it, Big Smitty. There's a lot going on here. Ghost, shout out to you.
Shout out to Ghost.
Since we've been on timeout, we've lost like $2,300. And it just keeps dropping. A 1-week suspension will kill your pockets. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, like I can't even get paid this month, y'all. Like, that's the real.
We need the dick riders like whatever his name was to drop some bread for us so I can get Smitty out the hood. We got a lot going on. I'm live on IG on my phone, not through this thing before. This thing kind of slows down IG, so I'm going to go live on my phone since TikTok banned us. It's me. Let's get you the quote of the day, man, because I got the quote of the day that's perfect for this scenario that's going on. We're losing 3 legends in the business, in the profession, not only just coaching. I'm sure T-Rich, when he comes on here, is going to tell you that Nick Saban meant much more to him than just coaching football. Right. He's a mentor and a father figure to a lot of people, just like I have been, like Pete Carroll's been, like everybody that's been mentioned in this thing has been. Of course, Bill Belichick at the professional level, at the highest level. So we're gonna dive into it. So I came up with a quote that I had to bring up. Holding on is believing that there's only a past. Letting go is knowing that there is a future. I think all 3 of these men at some point still want to coach. I think Pete Carroll is kind of pissed off about it and wants to coach right now. I wouldn't be shocked if he takes a job today. Nick Saban, I think I can see him just going off into the sunset, doing what he does. And Belichick, I believe, is going to coach again, obviously, in the NFL. He would never do the college thing. So that quote of the day is brought to you by betonline.ag. Use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV. Get you 50% off plus welcome bonus. Contrary to belief, also catered to what's going on in the coaching profession. Brought to you by Prize Picks. Head on over there. Forgiving you is my gift to you, Smitty. Moving on is my gift to myself. Don't get it twisted. Nick Saban, Pete Carroll, and Bill Belichick are also giving themselves a gift. And they've given the gift to you guys forever. And now it's time for them to have their own gift. And I believe they're moving on, contrary to belief. And in 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life, contrary to belief. 3 words. Okay. It goes on.
It goes on.
It goes on. Life goes on, dog. 3 words can sum up what you learn in life, and it goes on. It ain't stopping for nobody. The train keeps moving. It doesn't matter if you cut a player gets thrown in jail. Unfortunately, guys get killed. Unfortunately, all these things happen. Nobody cares at the end of the day. Nobody cares. The fans of America are already, give me Vrabel, give me Dan Quinn. But they could give a shit about paying homage to the legends that just sat there for 24 years, for 14 years, for 17 years. They could give a shit less, like these fanboys that come on in here that have zero respect for the profession and have zero respect for what these professionals did for as long as they did. Which, that's you can never do. Half of them would never do it. So we're going to dive into it. Smitty, right out the gate, it's on the thumbnail. Pete Carroll and Nick Saban call it quits yesterday. And as of 2 hours ago, Bill Belichick calls it quits. And I don't believe it's a coincidence. I think it is planned. I believe this was a planned deal on how they did it. And I think that a couple of them are going to coach again. And I think that Saban, if anybody, Saban's going to be the one that doesn't. And T-Rich will be able to give us more insight on that. But
how you feeling right now, though? How you feeling? Because like you are a coach in this industry. Obviously, you're not coaching right now, but once you're a coach, you're a coach. Like I still, to this day, if you ever coach me, your name is Coach whatever. Coach, you know what I'm saying? So
it's like a doctor, Smitty. You earn the right to be called doctor.
Right.
And you should always be called doctor. Like I call Dr. Mendoza, who's in the chat right now, former principal of mine, boss of mine. I still call him Doc.
Yep.
He's earned that right. Coaches earn that right. I've called coaches that my whole life. I even still call teachers Mr. or Mrs.
Yep, out of respect.
That's just how we were raised. These kids nowadays, I get DMs. Hey, can you look at my film? Hey, can you eat a dick up? Like these motherfuckers aren't taught anything. And guess what? All you coaches should be ashamed of yourself for allowing these pussy ass little boys to address you by hey. If you allow it, then you allow it. Guess what? I choose to coach it. So guess what I do? I coach the kid. It may not be to the liking that you want to hear because I may cuss his ass out, which I do. And guess what? Those kids all respond like, damn, coach, you right, my bad. Because nobody's taught them. The kids only know what they know and don't know what they don't know.
I'll blame the coaches and parents. I don't blame I can't blame a 17-year-old for doing something. Like, I have to blame the parent or the leader, the coach.
Yeah, did I know, hey, wasn't the right way to approach an adult at age 5? Probably. But guess what? My dad was whooping that ass if I did it. That's why I learned it early. These cats ain't learning it early, and you can't tell me different. Yeah. So I'm going to have to break them at 20. that's why I'm the asshole to America. That's why I'm the devil. I'm the crazy. I'm this and that. No, I got to break your son because your asses don't lose sleep over them, but I do. Yeah. I lose sleep over another human son, and it blows people's mind that I'm rough on them. Really. You're asleep, by the way. Your ass is asleep while I'm not sleeping because of your son is under my watch. And that's what cats don't understand. I am now responsible for those guys. And I don't know. I think it goes missed a lot, man, in this business. But this one is to your question. Like,
are you sad a little bit? Are you like, it's kind of crazy.
Because I'm not sad when people make millions of dollars. Because I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
That's true.
They have earned it, just like John Moran has earned it. He's a 1%er, but I'm not sad that he does dumb shit because. You make your bed, you got to sleep in it.
But this is a little different. Like, these are 3 like legends who, like, my entire life, these guys have been coaching. Like, literally, I don't know a world where Pete Carroll, Nick Saban, and Bill Belichick are not coaching. So it just sounds weird.
You don't know that world at all.
I literally don't.
Yeah. I know all 3 of these people pretty well, decently. I have their cell phones. I shot them all a text last night. Not Belichick, but the other 2.
Yeah.
And it's emotional from a coaching standpoint to just see them walk away or move on from places that they've been. But at the same time, I've also seen Larry Bird and Kobe and Jordan and all these greats that I used to grow up watching and give it up to. And I'm like, damn, that was emotional to me watching like Magic, Bird, Kareem when I was a young kid in their career. And I'm like, damn, Dominique Wilkins and all these different greats. Yeah. So I've been through all these different generations that going in to be 48 years old this year. And I'm like, this one, knowing Pete, sitting down with Pete for many, many times, having Nick in the office and being in his office and going to visit Sark. And this picture right here, by the way, Sark and I were in the building at this time. This was at SC. And this was Saban coming to clinic with Pete. And so this picture right here, Sark had last night. Sark posted it because he was like 2 of my, mentors. Before we get into what's going to happen and where I think's happening and all this old shit, like, I guess the poll question I want to ask everybody out here today is, whose shoes will be the hardest to fill? Ooh. Pete, Bill, or Nick? Whose shoes are going to be the hardest to fill? Because, man, this is something you have to ask yourself. All 3 of them had a stint in the NFL. All 3 of them coached college. Bill obviously is known for the NFL, but he coached as a young cat in college. Obviously, Nick and Pete are legends in both, or in college world, but Pete's done both like a rare person. Jimmy Johnson, Pete Carroll.
Harbaugh, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, they've won a Natty and a Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Pete's won 2 Natties and should have won 3 and should have won 2 Super Bowls. Pete would be on the top echelon. I guess my question is, what shoes are going to be hardest to fill? But at the same time, I'm interested in getting your take to start the show. Like, who's the best coach of those 3 to you?
Man, I know. I've been really thinking about this, and it's tough too, man. Because like obviously, me and you, like we've been in it. So like to me, the accolades doesn't 100% just automatically say, oh well, that's the best coach automatically. You know what I'm saying? There's so much that goes into coaching and what team did you have when you got there? What was your foundation and how did you build from it? You know what I'm saying? Like the road traveled and just there's a lot of factors that go into it. But when I think about just like consistent dominance over the course of a career, I gotta give it to Nick Saban because I don't know a time to remind me, I can't think of a season where Nick Saban wasn't still top tier. Even this year, early in the year, we were all like, it doesn't, Bama doesn't really look the same. They look kind of vulnerable. Jalen Milroe, he's a great athlete, but he's not really a great quarterback, compared to the Mac Jones, the Tuas, the Jalen Hurts, things like that. It's like, even in this season, they go out here and they lose. They lost 2 games total, one of them being to the national champions in overtime. They go and beat a Georgia team that ain't lost in 2 years. Even in a down year, that's what he did. Like, that's how he ends. So it's like, when I think about consistent dominance, where a guy who's literally, at least at Bama, I mean, we can try to go back to LSU. I mean, I like, tell me if I'm wrong, chat. Tell me, JB, if I'm wrong. I don't know a season, a year that Nick Saban just fell off and just had like a 6-6 year. Like, it's like always 10 wins, 11, under 12. It's like every single year. So for me, I have to go that route. Now, that's not disrespecting. Obviously, we know Pete Carroll, those legendary Seahawks team. That's one of the greatest defenses of all time. That like 4 or 5 year stint of the Seahawks dominance was crazy. You see right here, man, all the wins, man. Like, most of his tenure with Seattle was consistent winning as well. Not Super Bowls every year, of course, but he went to 2, won 1, should have won 2. Just good winning seasons throughout. He brought out the best of Russell Wilson. We see how Russell has looked without him. You know what I'm saying? So he has multiple Hall of Famers on his squad. I have to give him kudos to that for development. And then obviously Bill Belichick. I mean, Bill Belichick, a lot of us still say, and was definitely saying a couple years ago, that this guy is the greatest NFL coach of all time. Now, the only thing with Belichick that, and we can have a good debate about this as well, is his last couple years has not been Bill Belichick-ish. So there's people in the media, people on social media who feel like these last couple of years has kind of like weakened, so to speak, his legacy to an extent. But at the end of the day, man, you won 6 Super Bowls, 6, and he went to, what did he go to, 9? I have to go and look it up, but he went to like 9 or 10 and won 6, and that's just 6 with. Again, I'm just talking about New England. We ain't even going back to D coordinator with the Giants and all that. I'm just talking about as a head coach, with the Patriots. So like, Bill Belichick as a coach fan gave me nightmares. Him and Tom Brady together gave me nightmares. So it's tough, but I gotta go with Saban though, JB.
Yeah, I'm totally on the other side. I don't think people realize, especially in this business, especially when you deal with both of them at their height, especially when you're inside information with good friends like mine, Sark and Lane, and guys that I've known for a long, long time that I've got to speak with over a whiskey or a beer, and we're talking shit and being ourselves and free with no one else around, no phones, no recordings. When they both tell you there's a reason for Nick Saban's success, and that reason is Pete Carroll being in the NFL. When that's said, the room gets quiet, people get chills, and that is a cold, cold statement. And it's the true one, dog. There's a reason why the NCAA created a head coaching recruiting rule that the head coaches could not go out to the high schools but once a year. There's a reason why there was a text rule put in place so that head coaches could not text the players, the recruits. That's all Pete Carroll, dog. Pete Carroll clearly dominated at a level that is never going to be matched. The reason Saban is known for what he is because Pete Carroll left the game. He got out. And I just got asked this question, Smitty. You were young, but why can't nobody tell me what Nick Saban did during Pete Carroll era?
Because Pete Carroll was the king at the time.
I'm just saying. They're both the same age, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
So they're both 72 years old. But one person, Nick Saban, we never heard of, dog. Pete Carroll was going into Alabama and LSU and getting their best player to come to L.A. Don't get it twisted. I was there. I was in the mix. Pete Carroll is, to me, the greatest college football coach of all time, and he didn't coach as long as Nick at that level.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, if Pete doesn't get ran out of town, Pete Carroll, I still don't believe you know who Nick Saban is. That's crazy.
That's a bold statement.
Crazy it may sound, but I'm just keeping it 100 though.
He got 7 of them things, JB.
He was in 4 out of 5 years. Like, do you think about what Pete Carroll was doing? Don't think Pete Carroll would have any more? Like,
how many Pete got?
He had 2, and then he went to 3 out of 4-year span.
Ooh, right.
So you don't think he would have had?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I'm saying. Now you go to the NFL and you do what you did in the NFL by going to 2 Super Bowls, basically a handoff away from winning 2 Super Bowls, creating one of the best defenses in NFL history. I say top 5.
For sure.
So
let me real quick, but before I forget though, let me ask you this: you mentioned the Super Bowl, you mentioned the handoff. That's a blemish on Pete Carroll's resume, though. Big blemish, in my opinion. Big blemish.
Well, so Nick Saban has those blemishes, and so does Pete Carroll. So does Bill Belichick. Here's the thing I have to say to that though.
When you got 7 and 6, it's kind of you kind of overshadow the blemish.
People forget though when you go to a New England. When they had Drew Bledsoe, young New England, Willie McGinnis.
Yeah.
And you take them to the playoffs. People don't want to talk about Pete Carroll taking that New England team to the playoffs. People don't want to talk about Pete Carroll taking the Jet team that was atrocious to the playoffs. People don't realize Pete Carroll had a winning record in the NFL before he went to Seattle. People don't realize how great of a coach this dude is. I don't think they really realize, because it's about what have you done for me lately. And I think that we look at these things and we're like, everybody has their favorites and I think the younger generation is going to say Nick Saban and Belichick because that's what they know. And then the old school heads that know football, which I think all 3 should be on the Taj Mahal of football with Urban Meyer and Bill Parcells. I think that we're going to weigh it out like I am right now and really give everybody insight so everybody can make a real judgment on it, because the young cats don't know what Pete Carroll really is about. And let's just keep it real. Instagram, TikTok, they don't know what Pete Carroll did. And I'm just telling you straight up, giving you free game, that Pete Carroll's responsible for a lot of these dudes in here coaching these games that you guys are all excited about. So anyway, that's my rant. It's emotional to see great coaches and legends like that I know. They're all great in a different way. They're all great in their own way. A lot of peers hate them because they win, just like myself, just like Jim Harbaugh. And a lot of people will kiss their, whisper sweet nothings to them in their face and stab them in their back. And that's the profession we're in. So that's how, it's not like a favorite. It's more of I'm giving you all the possibilities so you can make your own judgment on this thing. But a lot of people don't realize that Pete Carroll dominated the college landscape and Nick Saban was in the mix. He was coaching and you didn't hear his name too much. And if Pete didn't get ran out, like I believe Harbaugh is getting ran out now, I think it would be a deal. Now, I want to get your take, though, on this topic. This is a long topic, obviously, but
there's going to be a lot of this on doing it today's show. Make sure you bug your seatbelts up.
By the way, I think it is a plan. I after speaking to some guys last night, and obviously I made a video, and everyone hit me up about the video and was like, man, 1,000% spot on this one. I'm like, when D1 guys are telling me that, I'm like, all right. Because I know I talk to these guys, and unlike everybody in the chat and all on Instagram and TikTok, I talk to these people still to this day, and not only players but coaches, of course. And Big Mac comes on the show and is like, man, JB's been saying this for years. I didn't believe it. Now I'm changing my tone as well, as Matt said yesterday. And Matt's like, I'm talking to guys too, and they're like, man, I'd go coach it. I'd go work at Walmart if I could make the same dollar that I'm making at Texas. They want out of this profession for a reason, and it is almost when it becomes no fun. When you're in this thing and you're coaching and it's not fun, it is a job then what's the difference in working at Walmart and coaching at Texas? There is none. If you fear going to work and it's just about money, you still ain't going to be able to do your job the right way. You still ain't going to be able to. If you ain't have fun at your job and attack this shit like you really want to, you're not going to have fun, dog. You're doing it for a job. You're doing it for a paycheck. And I believe 90% of this stuff is doing it for a paycheck at this point. There's no more fun in this. And I know this from talking to these guys. And there's a reason they all resigned at the same time. And I'm just telling you right now, two of them, in Nick Saban's case, it's hit the precipice. Like, there's no more going back to what, football should be. It's pay to play. And can he ante up? And can Alabama ante up? Yeah. They got the money. They got oil money. They could do whatever they want. But I think he understands this ain't what this game is, dog. This ain't what it's about. This ain't what it's for. This isn't, we're not going to teach kids nothing. We're not going to teach kids that there's going to be real bumps in the road in real life. And we can't teach them that no more, because we can't sit one of them and bench one of them and tell them that you're not ready yet. You're immature. Your physical body's immature. Your mental mindset's immature. They don't want to hear that now, because they single mama for the most part, who thinks they sent them to 17 7-on-7 camps through 4 years of high school, knows better. And they spent their hard-earned dollar, right? The single mother spends all their hard-earned money on their sons out of love, which I love. I tell the mamas all the time, that's what you're supposed to do as you're the mama. But you don't know why you're spending the money. And you don't know what you're spending the money on. You're spending the money on teaching your kid how to become soft. You're not teaching them tough skin, and you're teaching them a lot of times the wrong shit. These 7-on-7 trainers are teaching them horrible mechanics, horrible fundamentals. And then they go to their high school coach, Smitty, and they cross coach. And then the kid tells the coach, my trainer told me I should do it this way. And then the coach is like, you're a trainer. And then there's a beef. And now you got a beef at the household because the mama's paying a trainer. And dog, it's so convoluted now. It's so much BS involved that Saban's like, you know what? I got to go. It's the time for me to get out. And Deion
put something out about that. I mean, like, he showed love to Saban, saying like, man, the GOAT retired. But then he's at the bottom of his tweet was something along the lines of like, basically saying the Courage College landscape, ran the GOAT out of here. He's like, I think we all need to like look ourselves in the mirror and like see like what are we doing, or you know what I'm saying? So I was like, dang, like to see that is real.
And it's so deep, and you and I could talk about this all day. It's so deep, because to be honest, it's like these guys in the chat that came in early that don't have any respect for the profession, or these people that have coached your sons and daughters and made them from boys, turned them into men. No respect for those three guys that just called it quits after all these years. Combined, what do they got? 20 championships? But winning off the field is even more important, in my opinion, to what they've done to these kids and these guys, growing them, teaching them how to be men and boys, from boys to men. But here's the thing. I don't think they realize, like, 90% of these coaches out here today are like these chat guys that never coached or played, who have no respect. And they're out there right now. Because I saw Shedeur Sanders do it, which, again, irks me, homie. I got to be honest, dog. It irks me. And his daddy says one thing, but then his daddy allows his son to say another thing on social media. And to me, it's the epitome of what's wrong with why Saban, and this is why Saban left. 90% of these coaches, dog, are trying to get Bama's players today. They're trying to get their players today. Shedeur Sanders is tweeting out, all Bama players, holla.
I mean, Jay, but players don't do that. Like, as a player, why don't I want the best players on my team? Like,
I get it, but what I'm saying is there's not even a pause or a breath being taken for let's just be bad word to say, but for the death.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Rest in peace for a couple days, dog. Your daddy's Deion Sanders. He just made a very insightful tweet about, and then you turn around right after and post that. To me, it means either it's A, calculated, or B, the right hand don't know what the left hand's doing.
Well, no, I just think, listen, we're going to always connect everything the son do to the daddy to the son. Shador's he's young, but he's a grown-ass man. So we all got phones. Like my mom and dad or whatever, they didn't know everything I'm tweeting out and everything I'm putting. Like, I controlled my phone since fucking like a senior in high school or whatever, high school. So like, I'm just saying, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think you like Coach Prime as a older man in the game who's an actual coach and who understands what you're saying a little bit more. He's gonna have his coach's hat on and speak from his point of view. And then Shador, who's a current player at Colorado, who as the team has a badass year. Yeah, maybe he doesn't fully care about the young guys. Maybe don't look at these guys like that because they're young. Like they don't understand the full scope of the greatness that Saban, Pete, Bill, all these guys. They know they're great, but they're just young. I mean, these guys are what? These guys were born in like 2003. JB, think about that.
I mean,
they're born in like 04. These guys don't.
Yeah, you can make excuses all you want. All I know is this. My son ain't tweeting that out.
You saying that, but I believe you would.
Let me tell you this.
I believe you would.
If he does, the motherfucker's there's going to be some repercussion. You may not start my first game this year as my son quarterback. I'm just telling you, there's nothing.
You get for that tweet, though?
We're not saying nothing. Like, we're not doing that. Like, that's my point. Like, people can say all this shit about he's a grown man and he's got a phone and all this. No, he's not. He's still my son. Number one, this is not just Deion's player, dog. This is his son.
He's gonna always be his son. So that's what
I'm saying. So, like, to me, my son is just gonna know the difference between a good time. He's gonna read the room better, I guess. Let me say that.
I respect that.
Let me say that. I mean, he's gonna read the room better. I'm not saying I'm gonna give my daughter or son a pass. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And blood's thicker than water. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, hey, man, you're my kid, too. I just tweeted out I just tweeted out something, and then you go out talking about, let's come on, Bama. Like, to me, it's like, I don't know.
It's bad optics for sure at the bottom line. I agree to that. I'm not disagreeing with that part. Yeah.
All right, let's dive into who's going where.
JP Dex, shut up.
Here's the thing I got to say. I shot a certain person a text last night because I got some rumors from other guys in the business, friends of mine, and I'll just say what I think's going to happen and what you can go from there and say if I know this or not. You can just go for it. I'm not going to tell you I know it or not. I believe Sark got offered the job and turned it down.
Okay, that's what you believe, right?
Yeah. I believe Sark got offered the job and turned it down.
What you looking at? Who in the room?
And then I believe Lanning was offered the job and accepted. That's what I think happened or is going to happen. That's just what I think. So Alabama will have Dan Lanning as their coach, in my opinion.
I agree with your opinion for some reason. I don't know. I don't know. It just sounds like the right thing.
You didn't see no text or nothing? You don't know?
No, I ain't see no text. Who? Text who? I don't even know who you're talking about. I just feel like the way you're saying it right now, it just kind of makes sense. I don't know why. Lanning, Bama, rooted in substance. Rooted in substance. I remember that quote right there. It just sounds like it makes sense. All right, what's my cousin saying? Keith Smith, JB Sark didn't get offered. They literally go through an interview process and national search. Keith, man. I be trying to fight for Keith, man. That's my little cousin. You know what I mean? Now, he ain't my real little cousin. We got my last name, so I'm trying to help you out, Keith, but you be setting yourself up. You know what I mean? I can't.
Anyway, Smitty, so Sark turned it down. Let me just keep. I'm not mad. I'm not gonna be mad. I'm gonna do a good show. We're gonna have a good show. Here. Let me, Alan. let me explain how this thing works. This job does not get flown on fucking Indeed. You don't get to submit your resume, Keith. You don't get to, can I apply for the job? When's it going to be posted? This isn't how these jobs work. Just FYI. They don't go on Indeed and fucking Monster or whatever job site and put it on there. Just sit this one out, Keith. You fat titty.
Damn.
All right, so, anyway, I tried to be better. All right, so look. There's no Rooney Rule in college. There's no fucking – it's unbelievable. Anyway, here is the deal. I believe that's what's happening right now. And look, Mario Cristobal left Oregon. Willie Taggart left Oregon. Ironically, both to the state of Florida, in Miami and Florida State, respectively. And now I think Dan's going to leave. Listen, whatever – let's just stay on Oregon for 1 minute. Yep. If this does happen. And I respect the shit out of Dan if he stays or goes, because I've known Dan a long time. I'm really good friends with Dan. Obviously, I got a lot of good friends on that staff. And I was fucking with all his staff last night. I was texting all of them, fucking with them. But I won't tell you what I was telling them. So it takes big balls, by the way, which Dan Lanning has, obviously, because I don't believe he gives a shit. We've seen the takes with the Dion back and forth. We've seen the takes that he said on the college game days. He don't give a shit. My point is, takes big balls to follow who Smitty thinks is the greatest coach in his era. Takes big balls to follow that motherfucker. It takes big balls to go in there and say, I want this fucking challenge. Because I'm learning a lot of guys scared of this challenge. There's a lot of cats that may not want to go into this motherfucker and be like, oh shit, this is like following John Wooden at UCLA.
Right. Literally.
There is no, let's be real. It's going to be 3 of those, in my opinion. It's going to be following Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, and Nick Saban. Whoever follows those 3 dudes going to have big balls, going to have tough skin, going to have a lot of this stuff. So I'll respect Dan if he says, you know what, I'm staying at Oregon, finishing the job I started. I would respect that. But I think I said in the private chat, I wouldn't be shocked if Kirby went to Bama and if Dan went to Georgia. And I wouldn't be shocked if Dan went to Bama and Kirby stayed, or Kirby goes to the Atlanta Falcons and takes his NFL shot. I wouldn't be shocked if Lane took an Oregon job. I wouldn't be shocked if Lane got the Bama opportunity. But I don't think it's a Lane fit at Bama. I don't think so. I think they want a defensive coach. And I think Sark understood that. I think Dan is obviously GA there before going with Kirby. Chris Russo, this is my point. I'm glad you reminded me. This is where I got off track here. Stay on Oregon, JB. Stay on Oregon. Smitty, you got 1,000 uniform combinations. You got Phil Knight. You got Nike. My point is, why are 3 coaches left in consecutive years with all these things? Chris Russo said Lanning has a gold mine with Phil Knight. So did Mario? Did Willie? Did Chip Kelly? Did Mike Bellotti? There's something up there in the water for people to say, okay, this is Oregon. Unbelievable facilities, pretty-ass neon glowing uniforms, unbelievable Nike shit. They've yet to win a natty. They've yet to hold a coach long enough to really build something special. And we're sitting here calling them a gold mine. What are they a gold mine in? So my question to you, Big Smitty, why is Oregon losing coaches at an all-time high when all the naysayers and people out there, all these people always talk about how good of a job Oregon is? I don't believe it is. I don't believe it is a good job. Not as good as everybody thinks. I believe it's just a good job in the country. I don't know if it is a gold mine. Obviously, it's not, because if it was a gold mine, gold mines don't have 4 fucking people go through them and continue to find new gold.
Right.
So,
I mean, I just think it just levels to everything. You know, I think it is a top tier school, top tier program. They get top recruits. You know, recruits as a young kid in high school. I just love looking at Oregon's uniforms and all that. That stuff actually matters when it goes into recruiting, and all the They got money up there. They can offer a lot. But with all that being said, Oregon ain't Bama. You know what I'm saying? Oregon ain't even SC in terms of just the aura. You know what I'm saying? Like Oregon ain't Texas. Oregon ain't Michigan. Like, to me, there's certain schools that's just like the history of it. Like, it's deeper than what they can provide from a monetary standpoint.
And not to cut you off, exactly your right point. Every coach I've talked to that's left there, buddies of mine, have tons of coaches that I've known that have been there. I've been up there tons of times to clinic and be around and fuck with them and all my buddies. Every single one of them that leaves say, God damn, JB, I couldn't wait to get out that motherfucker. Every one of them. And I'm not going to say who said it, but I will tell you for the number one reason why they say it. Life. Living life is a absolute misery, because you don't leave the office. You're working 15 to 20 hour days, number one. Number two, when you do go out and do something, you're in the most gloomy, rainy, shitty, weathered state in America. And it's a fucking misery to go out there like, fuck, I'm trying to get some sun. It's fucking overcast, hazy again. It's going to rain again. They hate it, dog. And it is what it is. Beautiful country now. I love Oregon's beauty, but 15-hour day job, Smitty. I want to take the kids to the park, and it's fucking cloudy, gloomy, rainy. Just, you know what I'm saying, though? Like,
I'm from Indianapolis, and we would have days like that often, and it literally, not being funny, it literally changes your mood, though. Like, it's a
like fact. In Seattle, number one suicide in the country. Like, Seattle, same way.
Just rainy all day. It's like, damn, like, it just makes you sad. It makes you want to stay at home and not do anything, you know? But then you got to go work because you're a coach. So it's kind of like I can see that a lot, man.
It is. So, like, I don't know. I just think that's got to be in play here when it comes to that. But I don't know. I think there's it's a calculated decision for these three coaches to call it quits at this particular time. I don't think they want to deal with the enabled kid that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Now, listen, let me retract that, because we've always dealt with the enabled kid. Let me give you a deeper to take, because I don't think you're gonna hear this on mainstream media all week.
Yeah.
We've always wanted to take on the challenge of the enabled kid or the broken kid and fix them. I've been wanting to do that. I've been doing that my whole life. That's not an issue. The rules that are allowing the broken kid to escape my grasp before I can fix them is why they're leaving. The rules have allowed them to not get coached hard anymore, not be told the truth anymore, and them escaping our grasp because they're scared or afraid of the truth or actual maturity to hit them in the face, and them to be told something that their partners, their boys, their trainers, their coaches, their 7-on-7 coaches who suck their dick and kiss their asses forever told them how great they were. They're scared to face a real man to tell them, you're not that good. You need this. You need that. Why Nick Saban's had the success he's had. Why more people have redshirted at Bama who have gone on to the NFL to be a first rounder than anyone else. Because he teaches and coaches and trains you the proper way to be a man first, a player second. That's no longer available. Because of the rules, structure, and way we've done things at the college level, even at high school level, has become what I speak of. And now in California, we're trying to get rid of Youth Pop Warner. It already passed 5-2 vote for the first portion of the vote, and now they're going to a second stage. If you get rid of Youth Pop Warner football in high school in California, the most populous state, which I've been reached out to by 1 million people to advocate for, to do a video, to write a letter. Eric Weddle as well. Matt, I'm going to ask a lot of different people. Try to get the NFL involved. You can't get rid of the youth football in a state like California. Like, these administrators and politicians have a fucking no clue.
They're gonna be back in they're gonna be in the streets. These kids need an outlet.
They have no clue what it's gonna do to this state, man. And if that happens, Bailey, can you find that on Twitter or anything like that? It's all over the place right now. California youth football ban voting. If that does happen, then you're going to have an even bigger issue, because now already in high school you can transfer 4 times in 4 years, which we're seeing. And you don't think it's going to happen in college? And you don't think that's why Nick Saban was like, you know what? Fuck this. I've tried to fight this fight. And Nick Saban is already has receipts on saying, I don't want 4-game playoff. I wanted to keep the BCS way it was, bowl games, because that's the tradition of football. It keeps everybody engaged. Bowl games mean something. Right. I definitely don't want a 12-game playoff. I don't want the NIL to be how it is. I want the kids to be paid by all the billions of dollars the NCAA creates, but not in the name, image, and likeness manner that you created, because it is pay for play. He said it 3 years ago. I did as well. And look what it's become. This isn't a name, image, likeness thing. If it was that, then Smitty should sell 30,000 jerseys. So should I. Right. It's not that way. It is pay for play. And when it's pay for play, dog, you know how many people's hands get on money, Smitty? The dirtiest thing in the world is what? Money. How many times does it transfer hands? How many people are trying to get their hands on it? So there's what I was talking about. California proposal to ban youth tackle football clears first legislative hurdle.
Let me ask you this real quick. What's considered youth? Like, what's the age? Like, what's the cutoff?
Like from the baby tykes to freshman high school or whatever that weight is. And California is different. We're Pop Warner. I know a lot of you guys in the other states are.
Right.
What do you guys call it?
No, I think
we're Pop Warner for the most part. Now we have other youth organizations over it's become a huge money thing, right? Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Started a Snoop League, and then
I know Texas is big with it too. Even in Indiana now, I got some of my former teammates who like coaching like a Warren Central like little youth league. They go around, they travel. Yeah, it's a big thing, and I think it's good for those kids to kind of learn a lot of life lessons. Football, listen, I always say football for me was like another parent, because I learned so much just from playing a sport. How to win, how to deal with loss, how to push through adversity, how to push yourself to a point that you didn't think you could get to, and building confidence. My confidence went out the roof once I became a good football player.
But Smitty, let me ask you something though. When you give these cats, these kids at the youth level or whatever, we're all I'm like, I wanted to stay. Obviously, I'm gonna advocate like hell, keep Youth Pop Warner youth football in, right? But we, especially inner city folks like ourselves, more often than not, fuck it up. We can't stay out of our own way. And what I mean is, when you shoot and kill people on the football field of a Youth Pop Warner game, and when your parents attack referees and coaches from the stands, and when Talib Kweli or whatever's brother shoots a motherfucker on the field, and when we got Pop Warner families and people worried about taking their kids out there, and then there's a referee shortage because we don't want to deal with you crazy motherfucker, we can't get out of our own way. It's easy to get rid of it, but you all won't see it. Like, I would love to do a Youth Pop Warner clinic and put together a clinic where I could fucking coach these coaches up and how to not be fucking hood gangster dumbasses because you got babies involved.
Right. And
how to coach kids up the proper way. I would do that in a heartbeat. I'd do it for free. But guess what? They don't care because they for some reason, we are worried about all the wrong shit. Is it? Aren't we coaching for the babies in that level? Like, aren't we trying to teach these motherfuckers the basic essential in life? Like how to tackle, how to move, how to run, how to be a little boy and be a man, how to treat people the right way. Like,
have fun. Like basic stuff. But you mentioned it's the parents too, though. Like what's your suggestion for the parent side of it? Because those are the main culprits. I feel like they're running on the field, putting their hands on the coaches, and then the coaches going to obviously, you're still human. You're going to react. You're a grown-ass man, too. Now you're fighting the daddy. How do you change that part of it? I mean, you got to have security just at the youth football games now, just standing on between the sideline and the little bleachers, the little small bleachers.
Yeah, you don't have the resources for that, Smitty. Like,
right.
So Dr. Mendoza, my former boss, is in the chat right now, and he said I used to do clinics. I used to do all kind of clinics. I would try to clinic these cats on how to do it. I'd have thousands of coaches out there at Long Beach Cabrillo High School in Long Beach trying to clinic guys. I had the AIGA Foundation as well, George, to host it. We did that as well. I brought in a bunch of youth to let's do it the right way. Not only on the field on fundamentals, but in the rooms, trying to break down how to actually coach and teach and all these things. The number one problem is, I told my staff always, avoid giving these guys X's and O's. Don't teach these cats anything about concepts of plays. Because all they want to do is be the next air raid guru coach, what do you do? I'm sitting there spitting game, Smitty, in front of 1,000 coaches, and I'm sitting there talking about fundamentally structuring a program.
Right.
And coach, what do you think about dig flat? Motherfucker, you can't even get your kid to the yard. And you're talking about running dig flat when I'm telling you how to organize a program and how to coach coaches and how to retain your players and how to manage a staff and how to create a weight room program and how to build a study hall program. You might be worried about dig flat. Everybody can call plays, Smitty. Everybody can call plays. And I don't mean that I'm being facetious, but I mean, there's millions of people that can call plays, but not everybody can build a program. Not everybody can teach kids how to be men. Not everybody can organize and structure and come up with a philosophy and a mission statement and create something that's going to be long lasting. Motherfucker want to know, dig flat. Dog, you're going to be shitty. Run dig flat all you want with a bunch of shitbirds who know nothing, who run around rampant, who are going to end up going to jail or be killed because you want to run dig flat instead of teach these motherfuckers life and teach these motherfuckers how to sit in the front row, go to study hall on time, be at practice, be accountable young men, and you worried about dig flat. That is the problem with what we have going on in coaching right now, and even at the 4-year level, dog.
Right.
They're so worried about signing the dude, getting him committed, putting the hat on, right? I got these 4 hats here. I'm going to do. No, at the end of the day, you're all fucking slapdicks. This is the hat you should all fucking wear because the coach has allowed this hat to be worn more than anybody else. And that's the problem. We rather worry about choosing hats and shit than we are fucking teaching these motherfuckers how to put on a hat. Meaning, down there, motherfuckers is worried about the wrong shit. And I'm just saying, we got too many fucking wannabe-ass coaches out here who wear a polo, who call themselves coach, but walk up to practice on their phone drinking a big gulp 5 minutes after fucking whistle blown. You ain't no coach, motherfucker. You a wannabe part-timer.
Wankster.
And there ain't nothing worse than a part-time coach. And that's just what it is. So, I don't know, man. It's emotional to see 3 legends get lost in the mix like this and have to, in my opinion, all left for a certain reason. You can say Pete Carroll was pushed out and Belichick was pushed out all you want. Combined, they have, 8 Super Bowls and have been to 13 Super Bowls. And you can say what you want about those 2 cats being pushed out. I don't believe you can be pushed out when one guy's been there 24 years, the other guy's been there 17. I don't think that's pushed out. I think it's just run its course.
Yeah, just like everything comes to an end. It's not like, it's like hey man, you did your thing. We're going in another direction, but it's not like the job is finished. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the job is finished. It's like players got to retire. Kobe had to retire at some point. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're just a horrible coach. You're fired. Like it is a different. Yeah, the organization let them go. Yeah, they were they fired technically speaking. Sure, but it's a difference between like, okay, this guy been coached for 3 years. The organization was shitty during those 3 years. You did a horrible job. You're gone. Compared to a guy who won 6 Super Bowls. And yeah, things have been different last couple of years, but it's kind of, he did his job though. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we just got to move to another direction, get younger. The league is different now, JB. That's another conversation too that we could have. I just think teams are trying to steer young, especially in the NFL specifically. You're seeing the Mike McDaniels, you're seeing the Sean McVays, the Shanahans, who's the Packers head coach. Like you're seeing all these young cats kind of like take over. The Ben Johnson, I know he's the offensive coordinator now, but he's talking about, people are talking about him being the next head coach. Shane Steichen, like even Antonio Pierce potentially. You're seeing the league kind of turn young, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's just everything comes with time. I mean, these guys are 70-something years old. Even Andy Reid, he ain't got that much years left to coach. You know what I'm saying? At some point, they have to retire. You have to move on. You have to stay young. At one point in time, you rewind this thing. Belichick was the young coach. He was the guy that like, all right, let's give him opportunity. He was that guy, and then he turned into Bill Belichick. Pete Carroll at one point in time, he was the young coach. Then he turned into Pete Carroll. So I don't see it as a bad thing giving these young cats an opportunity to do their thing. Because if things go well, maybe in 20 years from now, we might be talking about them the same way we're talking about some of these legends right now. So I do think Pete Carroll's going to continue to coach because you guys remember just 48 hours ago, before like he was talking about he's excited, he plans to be back. He was like still showing that energy, thinking he was going to coach again. And then boom, the next day he's giving like a speech.
And in his press conference,
he was upset.
His press conference and can bring it up, but
he was upset, JB. He was being mature and just that's who he is. But Pete was not happy. He's the one coach where I feel like he kind of got pushed out. I'm not gonna lie.
Though, his players were sitting in the front row.
Yeah, of course.
Like
it's Pete Carroll,
OG player. I'm saying OG players of his right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Wagner.
You have that video of him talking about, I can coach right now. I don't know, Bailey, if you can find it, but he wanted to stay there. I know for a fact, and I shot him a text last time. I've known him, sit down with him many years, known him a long time. He's taken several players of mine. One of my mentors, Coach Ward, is like this with him. He used to run the inner city program for Pete when he would go into Watts and the Nickerson Gardens. When he was at SC, Pete would go into the hood, into the Nickersons, into the Imperial Courts, into the villages, Hacienda villages, which is one of the most dangerous projects in America. And he would take Pete in there at midnight as he was the head coach of USC. So Pete would go into these places and do things that I don't believe a lot of guys would do now. You think fucking Lincoln Riley's going to go to Nickerson's?
Nah. He ain't doing that,
I'm just saying, there's some shit that that people, I don't think people realize, and I just think that there's a lot of deeper things. But I want to do something with you, Smitty, before T-Rich jumps on and get his Nick Saban take.
Yeah,
I wanted to show you the Pete Carroll take. You can see that he's kind of vindictive.
I'm so heartfully sorry for the families. Y'all don't realize how deep this runs. It's just going next coach, next staff, what's going to happen, what's the future and all that. There's people in this thing, and it breaks my heart that so many people get shocked and adjusted and surprised and all of that, and the children. We have so many kids in this organization that we love so much, and we celebrate whenever we get our chance. It breaks my heart that we're dealing with that. But that is what happens, and that's part of this business and part of a lot of businesses, not unique just to us. To the players that have been part of this,
he got emotional, Smitty. It is what it is.
The NFL is about the players. Those guys doing what they do. Who would I be coaching? I want to remind us, I guess, one time about the work. Yeah.
There's another video out there that he says basically, no, I'm not done. Like he was like, hell no, I'm not done. I'm fucking ready to go right now. Like,
because he's older in age, but he's young and he's youthful in energy. He's still running around. He still work out before the games. I think he's chewing gum.
Saban the same way though.
Like,
Saban does the same shit. Throw the ball to DBs before the
but I think it's different. I think Saban wants to retire because of everything you listed as far as the landscape of college football, where it's going. Also, another good point too is, and not saying, and listen, I've never seen Saban have a bad season, so I'm not even predicting this. But also, like, I think knowing when to go is also a smart thing as well. Like you don't want a situation where we don't know where this college landscape is going to turn, and maybe it could turn for the worse, and maybe it gets hard to keep recruits, and maybe Saban stays around a little too long and he ends up having like a 7-5 season. Not because he's a bad coach, just because the landscape is so crazy right now that you got to recruit players to stay, it's just too much going on. So I think him leaving out still pretty much on top. He was a play away, not even a play away from being back in the Natty. So our last memory of him on the football field will be that. So he left on top still. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of it too, like just knowing when to leave. And it's like, what more does he have to do? I mean, you look at his legacy. I mean, come on, man. Like, it's him and Bear Bryant. But, I mean, in respect to Bear Bryant, everything he's done, if you play college football, you coach college football, you got to know the history of that. But at the end of the day, Nick Saban is my GOAT. That's who I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think he's going to go into the booth to some extent. That's why I think he started to do the McAfee show. We thought it was because of the help with recruiting, which maybe it was part of it. But I also think it was to get his reps and get his face out there. I'm seeing rumors that College Game Day has an offer for him to come out there whenever the great Lee Corso decides to, step away. Like, they're not going to let Lee Corso go. But it is what it is. He's getting very old and he's dealt with stuff. So I think that's going to be an option for Saban as well. I think he's going to just kind of move on and go that route. But with Belichick and Pete, I do think Belichick and Pete are still going to coach. I would be shocked if Pete doesn't go somewhere else. The question is, where does he go? That's the question. Yeah. Now, does he stay in the NFL?
In the chat. Here it is.
And I'm freaking jacked. I'm fired up. I'm not tired. I'm not worn down. You guys tried your best. You didn't wear me out. It's the end of the season. I'm supposed to be, go lay on a cot somewhere. I ain't feeling like that. And, there's what's coming. I don't know. I got no idea. And I really don't care right now. But I do. I'm excited about it because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to study. There's some great discoveries that are going to come our way.
Hey. Hold on real quick. What if Pete Carroll go somewhere else and get him one more? Just get him one more for the hood. That'd be crazy. That might.
I'm not putting it past the motherfucker.
Could Pete Carroll come out here to LA, back to LA, and go to the Chargers? You don't think that's possible? I know we keep talking about Harbaugh, but like, why couldn't Pete come out here to LA? We already love him. He already got love out here.
I think Harbaugh's first on the list. I think he's younger. I think Spanos want a younger guy. I don't know if Pete has a house, LA guy, Pete is now. So he, built a house right here at Rancho Palo Verde. He's up above the Trump course. Look, I would love to see it. But I'd also love to see Harbaugh as well.
Yeah, I know. Harbaugh,
so it's just like, I almost want to see Harbaugh, even though I'm a Pete Carroll over a Harbaugh all day long. I'm also not ignorant. I also want to know. I want to see a quarterback guy develop Herbert. Yeah. I want to see that part of it too, and I want to see Harbaugh in there chase his brother down, and I just think that's a good thing. I'm
trying to think what team would make sense for Pete Carroll. Just off the top of the head.
Let's do it. But I wanted to show you something real quick. I was going to talk about it, but I forgot what it was.
Don't you hate when that happens? Like, it was right there, and it just.
I wanted to do my best possible coaching fits.
Oh, you already had to see. I didn't know you had that line to see. Y'all, me and Jamie, we don't talk before the show.
It happened because I come in the show early and work, and you're still asleep. So when I came in early, I told Bailey, who's on the white team, I said, Bailey, let's go. Give me this thing. So Bailey created this for me. Also, some fans. Shout out to the fans out there. I appreciate all the fans out there. But listen, I got to be real. This ain't ever happening.
Who made this picture?
Man, somebody on Twitter, dog. Look, hey, Smitty, you know the cool part is, Smitty, I get sent shit all the time from players too, players at certain programs. DM like, Coach, I'm gonna holler at our AD to get you the job here. And I'm like, look, son, I appreciate you, dog. I really do. The part that is good that these kids, contrary to belief, still want to play for me. That's what people don't realize. But administrators are like,
I'm gonna ask you straight up, JB. Are you gonna coach again?
I don't know. I don't know that question. I don't know the answer to that question.
Because I ain't gonna lie, man. I think you want it. I think you want it. You ain't never really came out and just said it. You always do that little shake, but like
I said, I don't want it. I can't do this landscape. Like it has to be the perfect fit. It has to be with a guy like Doc or my former boss's Lefty or Tammy, who I had at Indy. It has to be like that. So can't just be I'm forcing myself into a gig. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
it ain't gonna work. I'll be fired tomorrow. But let's do the best fit, the best possible fit as we wait for T. Rich. Bailey, you killed this. All right, so I think Dan Quinn is going to be a Seattle Seahawk.
Ooh, it makes sense. Defensive mindset. Yeah, he was there. He was there previously, right?
He was with Pete.
Yeah, he was with Pete. So
I think that's the fit that Seattle goes towards. Unless they go real young, I see them going there. Number one. Number two, Mike Vrabel, I think, is going to go to New England. I don't see them going with Mayo, who hasn't coached yet. I think Vrabel would keep Mayo, but I don't know if Mayo's ready, and I don't know if Kraft's ready to go with a humbug new booty right out the gate. Although he played and been there and all that, he's got to. I don't see Kraft going with a rookie head coach. Right. So that's my prediction. Now we could debate all this, but I just think these are just my guys. I like Ben Johnson to the Washington Commanders. I know Bailey spelled that wrong, but he's probably ad-libbing. And then I like Raheem Morris, the DC for the Rams. I think he's a natural fit in Tennessee. A defensive mindset team. I think that's perfect fit. Now, Lincoln Riley to the Falcons makes sense to me. And then Pete Carroll ending his career at SC. Now, this is more of a wish. This is more of a wish for me. That's more of a wish for me. But I have heard things from certain people that he would not deny or say absolutely no to an SC return.
That'd be wild. That would
and everybody that's in SC now is gone from when he was there dealing with all that shit. So, Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers, and AP stays with the Raiders. Dan Lanning to Bama, and then Jimbo to Oregon is just a shot in the dark because I don't know how long he can stay out. I believe somebody's going to have to try to get him before he's a forgotten cause like Ed Ogeron. So
yeah. Damn,
Jimbo's year to Ed. Yeah, Jimbo's year to get back is right now. Now, Oregon would be the only one that makes sense to me, but I don't see him fitting in Oregon style either.
Right. Oh, we got the food. We went straight to it, to the 4-ball. We brought in two legends. We brought in Matt McChesney, Trent Richardson, two NFL guys, two college legends, two guys who gonna keep it all the way real, man. Well, good morning. How y'all doing? We got 1,100 in the chat right now, man. Hit the like button.
What's good?
Hey, T-Rich, man, what up? You got that Bama shirt rocking it proud, too. Shout out to you guys.
Take your glasses off, man. I know you got some tears dropping down, man. Hey, it's the realest show on planet Earth, man. Go ahead and let it roll, bro. We ain't going to judge you.
Hey, man, these things full right now, man. It's been a bittersweet day, man. It was a tough one yesterday, bro.
Give me a little program announcement real quick. We're bringing Matt on with T-Rich for T-Rich Thursday. It's T-Rich Thursday, though, and
all day.
Matt show 0 to 60. 0 to 60 after our show. T-Rich is going to jump on with Matt as well. So appreciate T-Rich jumping on Matt's show after this one. T-Rich, I got to ask you straight out the gate. You know, I just gave my whole rant on this whole thing. It's an emotional day for me, just dealing with Nick, Pete Carroll, and Belichick. The little that I have, a lot with Pete, a little less with Nick, but sending players to both places for a long time. Having both sit in my office, sitting in their office, all those things, the relationships that are built through the recruiting processes over the years. My good friend Sark was there. I used to go visit him all the time with Nick all the time and get to bullshit and shoot the shit. I'm emotional just because I'm a former coach and obviously a player. What is your emotions running like right now from a mentor standpoint of Nick Saban, who turns a lot of boys into men over there in Tuscaloosa? It's got to be a bittersweet sort of feeling.
Yeah, it's the most bittersweet moment that you could ever have, right? When you hear stuff like this, man, it felt like we lost a family member yesterday, but we didn't. You get what I'm saying? It felt like that, and it felt like that to the world, because like I think people were so spoiled by the greatness that he done had on the impact of sports. Like you gotta remember, man, like that man got 40 head coaches that's somewhere else right now. Like that's crazy. That ain't talking about offense coordinator, defense coordinator, or assistant coach. That man got 40 head coaches right now, bro.
Ooh.
Like when you think about that, JB, like, man, like you done had guys come through your programs, get a better job and stuff. Like that's tough, bro. Like, and these folks don't realize like what a real dynasty belong at, like where the dynasty began, how folks got out the mud, how folks like are really at their peak of their game right now. Like I kind of seen it all year. You can kind of tell how he was talking to Coach Smart, how he was talking to Start, how he was talking to a lot of those guys that he coached against through the year. And you look at how he was talking to, Kirby. He was telling Kirby that, one thing you was saying, I'm too old for this shit. He kept saying that all year. And he kept saying how proud he was of Kirby when he would sit down and do the interviews and stuff. And, and I think this year right here was a year for Nick to show like, hey, I'm still, I'm still him now. Let's not get it twisted before I go out.
My question to you before I ask Matt, is Nick done?
Yeah, I don't think he'll coach nowhere else, man. Like, why would he? He got a super thing in Bama, man. Whoever get that job after him is gonna be left with a shitload of talent. Great people around him, great teachers around him. Just like it's a specific way to run your place and program. Like, I don't think it'd be another spot for him to go to get the best results that he has got out of these kids and out of this program for the last 17 years without a losing season. But the first one that he had there is crazy. Well, I ain't gonna say it was a losing season. I don't know if it was a losing season or not, but a 10 game win season, it's tough.
That was a play away from a natty steal. Think about that. Even in a quote unquote down year for Nick Saban in Alabama, they were an overtime play away from another natty appearance. Come on, bro.
Hey, Matt, I know you want to talk. I got to ask you this question. Out of these three guys, Pete Carroll, Belichick, and Nick, this was the poll question, and I want to get your take. We're the realest show on planet Earth. We got T. Rich on here who played for Bama. He's a Bama alum. We know it, but keep it real. What shoes are going to be the hardest to fill out of those three guys?
Oh, man, that's a great question.
Take your time, Matt. Take your time.
Shit.
Glad you got that question.
Hey, but T-Rich keep it real too. He always gonna keep it real, so he knows that's a hell of a question because it is. Because you got an NFL aspect, which people don't realize how. And T-Rich, by Matt's thinking, I got to ask you, and I'm going to give you a hot take that I've started the show with. Sark is a good friend of mine. Lane's a good friend of mine. They both coach for both people, and they're never going to say who they like coaching for better or whatever.
No, man.
But let me throw this out there.
Don't fucking know, man.
And I want to ask Matt the same question that I already threw at Smitty earlier. And T-Rich, you could say you crazy as hell, JB, or what, but this is, in my opinion, a real thing that no one really dives into. Nick Saban's name was not Nick Saban that we know it today when Pete Carroll was coaching at USC. True. And that is coming from certain people's mouths that coach for both people. And that's something a lot of people don't think about. Like when Pete was at SC now, they were the cream of the crop. He was going into Bama, Florida, Georgia, and grabbing the best player and bringing them out west and in front of Debo and Snoop Dogg at practice and all those type of things. Do you agree to that, or you think Nick was still going to do what he did if Pete stayed in college? Because remember, the texting rule was put in place because of Pete Carroll. the head coaching recruiting visit one time a year to the high school was put into place because of Pete Carroll. There was a lot of things that he was doing, and it seems like the Jim Harbaugh rule right now, they're trying to get his ass out of here before he takes over the game. I think Pete was taking over at that time, and even though Saban was still doing his thing, he won that at LSU, then he went to Bama, but I still think Pete wins some more titles as well. So I just it's a loaded question, but I just think that's a real thought you have to think about because Pete was dominant before he went to Seattle.
Yeah, bro. Like, yeah, of course. Like, you can't take nothing from Pete Carroll, bro. Like, the only coach besides Jimmy Johnson to win an NFL and a college national championship. And now Harbaugh, did Harbaugh win one now?
He lost the Super Bowl.
No, he lost.
He hasn't won. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, bro, you got to think about like.
There's only been Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson won a Natty and a Super Bowl. Pete Carroll won 2 Natties and a Super Bowl. Should have won 2 Super Bowls. And I think Barry Switzer was given a damn Super Bowl, but he won a Natty at Oklahoma. So there's only 3 coaches ever to have both.
Here's a Super Bowl.
There you go.
Here's Aikman and Irvin and Emmitt Smith and the Great Wall.
But Matt, T-Rich, all 3 shoes. So let me just give it like this. T-Rich, I don't know what you heard or whatever. I've heard from some people that are close to the situation that Dan Lanning's already taken the job, that Sark was offered a job and turned it down. They went right to Dan Lanning. That's just rumors out there, right? If that happens, so be it. My point is you got to have some big brass balls to follow Nick Saban, to follow Pete Carroll, and to follow Bill Belichick. And Dan Lanning, to me, is the guy that's like, I don't give a shit. I want the challenge. I think Dan Lanning takes it if he indeed was offered. And I'm curious to your point. Do you think Kirby either A, was offered, B, wants the job, or C, wants to stay at Georgia?
Ooh, I think Kirby is offered the job, and I think Kirby do want to come. But I think it's a toss-up for him because what he's built already at Georgia, I feel like he can't go wrong any place. But I don't know about Dan Lanning. And the reason I say that because SEC like to keep SEC guys. They're
but
not.
Dan is, though.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, and I want people to to just even look at this. Auburn a couple of years ago, or was it last year? They got rid of the guy from Boise. And they didn't give him a real opportunity to go in to, put his.
Oh, at Auburn, Harsin?
Yeah. They didn't give him a chance to really just go be him and have his program. I've heard, different stories about, Stark might be coming there, or I heard different stories that Kirby might be the successor. He might be the guy. And but I heard
name's gonna be thrown out there.
I wouldn't put Lane in there. And no disrespect to Lane. I love Lane, but Lane ain't did nothing to be like, oh, that's the guy.
And in fairness, either has Dan, right? Dan's a young and upcoming guy who's a go-getter. I think Dan's the best recruiter in college football right now. I know him personally really well. He took Jermaine Johnson from me at Georgia. I think Dan is head and shoulders the best recruiter in America right now with the staff that he has, who are a bunch of young go-getters who the players love playing for. I think he brings some of those guys to Oregon, but then he, like you said, you can't bring all of them either because SEC is a different recruiting trail. So he's going to have to change up at certain positions, especially O-line, D-line, and corners. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I think Lane has a better resume than Dan Lanning because of age only because of age, though. You know what I'm saying? Dan's young, but he GA'd at Alabama. He was a DC at Georgia. He has the natural ties. Lane's been a head coach, obviously, at several places, and Tennessee, Ole Miss included in the SEC. So I don't know, Matt. What do you think?
Look, man, I think that Lanning and Kiffin are pretty much the same guy, just separated by 10, 12 years maybe.
15.
Both of them are good recruiters. Both of them win games, but they haven't won the games. They haven't won conference championships. They haven't won national championships. My biggest question, just sitting here thinking about this whole thing after, being shocked yesterday, watching potentially in a 72-hour frame, Belichick, Pete Carroll, Nick Saban, everybody's walking away from football. So my question to football is, what's happening? My question to the NFL is, okay, I understand Carroll and Belichick getting at the end of their ropes, everything they've accomplished, 14 years, 20 years, however long it was.
24 and 14 and 17.
So 17 years for Nick Saban. But I don't think Nick Saban wanted to stop coaching. I think Nick Saban looked at college football and said, man, this is a big shit sandwich, and I'm tired of the NIL, and I'm tired of blowing 17-year-old kids when honestly they should be walking in, patting me on the back, being like, how can I come play for you instead of how can you come play for me? I just, I think that Coach Saban, Coach Belichick, Coach Carroll, they're old school guys, and they expect things to be a certain way, and this new school mentality doesn't merge with that at all. And my question to college football, more than football, I guess, is if the GOAT, if Nick Saban, okay, will walk away from Alabama and everything he's built there because he is so fed up with the culture, the atmosphere, the recruiting, the gimme nature that it is with every recruit. What are we doing college football? Like I am officially freaked out that like now the biggest personality in the sport is walking away from it not because he can't handle the grind, not because they've fallen off. They haven't. They'll be just as good next year with whoever adopts the program, not because of a lack of talent, but because of the lack of regulation, the lack of rules, the lack of like an even playing field. I see people think that the NIL is an even playing field, and I don't think it is at all. I think it makes college football like Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
T-Rich, a lot of people are chiming in on this day. Prime over in Colorado, Deion Sanders is chiming in.
I just said this.
We got to look at each other. Deion's like, we got to look at ourselves in the mirror, man, because we're running people out of the profession, legends out of the profession. I started the show, Matt, to your point, to your question. I started the show off by saying exactly this. This in no way, Matt, T-Rich, and I don't know if you think this way. There's no way that this was coincidence. This was a planned sort of events. And Belichick being the last one as the GOAT of all GOATs as far as rings go at the highest level. I think they planned this out. I showed a picture of when I was in the office with Sark and Pete. Nick came in to visit to clinic with Pete at USC years ago. And there is a plan. These guys are all cordial and talk. And I believe they went down this road once they forced Pete out of Seattle. Belichick, I think, knew already on Monday that he was gone, but I think Bill knew that Nick was going to leave. So I think they all correlated this and made sure that they did it in the right way to show, to Matt's point, you guys have a decision to make. Because look at who's roaming the sidelines, T-Rich, nowadays. I'm just keeping it real. Mike McDaniel wearing capri sweats. We got motherfuckers, analytical dudes. There's no more Belichick's, Pete Carroll. That's why I'm sad, Matt, today, to be honest. There's no more Parcells and Belichick's and
there's no fear.
There's no Bill Cowers. There's no, Mike Tomlin here is still here.
You got Dan Campbell. You got Vrabel. You got Mike Tomlin. You still got some dogs on the sideline, y'all.
They're not old school. Those cats aren't old school.
I'm talking mentality, though, man. I'm not talking.
I played for the Tuna. Like the Tuna, Bill Parcells was with the Dolphins when I was there in 2008. And I never saw him smile one time, ever.
Yeah, it's different.
Even when you did good shit, he'd just be like, I'd be like, what's up, coach? And he'd look at me and go, player. And I'd be like, oh, fuck, okay.
Hey, T-Rich, Nick was the same way, kind of, right? I heard stories with Julio Jones, like, motherfuckers would do some crazy shit. Nick would just walk by like, you're supposed to do that shit.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely that type of guy. Shit. Everything is expected, Everything is expected, and it's kind of like me with my son. There's certain stuff that my son do would be like, oh, shit. Oh, okay. Well, damn. But it'd be certain stuff like, when he catch a one-hand pass, like, oh, I don't get hyped about it. Like, he's supposed to do that shit. But this shit, like, he'll pat the ball to himself and catch it over somebody else, and they'd be like, oh, shit, he still caught it, going to his knees.
Right.
But it'd be like, certain stuff that you kind of be here with it because it's like you don't want these guys to arrive yet. And that's the process of being great. That's, the one thing that these 3 coaches teach is the process. And when you get those 3 guys in these type of conversations of the GOAT or whose shoes to, fill, who's gonna be the big, like, that's tough, man. Like, I wouldn't want to be in that situation, but I would love to be in that situation to come behind these guys to show what they taught me, what we learned from the game. Like Prime said, like, look yourself in the mirror. Like, what are we doing? Like, how can we get to? Because people are going to miss the greatness of these 3 coaches.
No question.
Right.
We already miss it with Tom Brady. Like, we missed that. We missed it. We was missing it with Peyton, but we had Tom. We still got Aaron a little bit. We're trying to hold on to that phase of the greatness because these guys are legends with what they're doing on the field and what they're doing off the field too. Like, these guys are making everybody better around them.
T-Rich, it sounds like I know who you want by hearing what you're saying. But if T-Rich got to pick the next coach to replace the legend Nick Saban, who is T-Rich picking? I know you spoke to your former teammates, players, legendary players, NFL guys you've talked to all. I know you talked to Nick's daughter and other people. Who do y'all want as alum, as former guys that are close to the program, givers to the program, on the sideline for certain games? Who do y'all want?
Hands down, it's gonna be Kirby Smart. And we know that's a long stretch. But between Kirby, between Stark, and it's hard to say these guys, man, because you don't want to put these guys in a situation where it's like, well, damn, I done built everything over here now.
Right.
And I done took what you done taught me and done built this. Like,
and it's a rival. You got players in Georgia right now. For you to leave, it's a tough one, man. But like,
let me ask you this: like, T-Rich, is there any younger coach who you're like, you know what? Yeah, maybe he hasn't won a natty yet, but
Lanning's the only guy.
Yeah, Landon, I had, yeah.
Well, what about D'Amico Ryans?
Man, I was just saying this last night. I was
What
just
about the what? Like, I know D'Amico's in Houston,
he
but
ain't leaving Houston though, dog. After it's his first year and they just live to a playoffs. Why would he leave?
Alabama just opened up, dog. Like, I know it's his first year. I get it. Sometimes you got to make hard decisions. D'Amico Ryans at Alabama, dog, dude.
He'd be amazing. Yeah, he's amazing.
Listen, man, I've been saying this, man. Like, it's kind of crazy how I lined up. Like, because, at first he was trying to get into coaching college, and he was just like, hey, well, I ain't gonna we'll have to talk, man.
I know. Let me do it for you as the white boy in the room. Hey, let me do it for you. Is Bama not like SC in the same regard that we're all thinking in the room right now? Like, are they scared to hire a brother as the figurehead? Because I know SC is that way. I know Colorado probably was for a while. Then they hire 3 in a row and break that 4 in a row.
Carroll said, "Fuck it, bow, bow."
Yeah,
bow,
they
bow.
broke that shit. But
Now Colorado,
they broke it. But I'm just like, real talk though. Like, it's certain places that are like, hey man, the black players can play for us, but the black coach can't coach for it. Like, I don't know, and I don't want to put you on the spot about Alabama, but I know SC's that way for a long time. Even though they hired a black AD finally, a former legend there. You think Bama would go that route?
Man, I'm gonna let you answer that.
You don't even say it. Hey, Matt, you think they'll go that route?
What was the question?
I went to Ball State. I ain't got no time.
My fucking computer's what? My computer's broken. I can't. What'd you say?
I don't think they are.
Hey, Smitty, you think they go that route?
I don't think they go that route. I mean, if you want to learn about the future, a lot of time, look at the history. That don't mean you can never change. Like you just mentioned, Colorado said fuck it, and they went boom, 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 boom. So is it possible? Yeah, but I don't see. I don't see them going from Nick Saban, and you got to understand with the Bama culture and you can't be used to this style of coach, this type of coach, and then go from that to boom.
Hey, a lot of people are saying Marcus Freeman, I'm hearing, and I'm like, Marcus Freeman, hell no.
He was trending on Twitter yesterday, JB. I was like,
Marcus Freeman ain't done shit.
Nah, that ain't gonna work.
No.
No.
Come on, man.
It ain't gonna work, dog. I'll tell you, but I think D'Amico Ryans would work because he's an alum and a great and an All-American, and I'm almost positive he won a Natty when he was there. He's a first rounder. He played
motivator too, Matt. Great motivator.
He was a great player too.
He's
a bad man. So that's the only guy that I think they would hire that's an alum, maybe that's coaching, but I don't know the rest of the Alabama tree.
But T-Rich, as you know, from going from playing in that level to going to play at that other level, it's the same way going down as a coach. I don't know if D'Amico is going to want to go into the house and recruit a mama when he's got C.J. Stroud, who possibly is the future of the NFL.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, do you want to leave that? And then every semester I lose my C.J. Stroud at Alabama and I have to pay a new one? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see D'Amico doing that because that's tough, man. Especially when you're starting to lay them bricks, right? Of that
foundation.
That foundation, bro. Like, and I think what he got with my boy Will Anderson out there, bro, is even tougher. You know, he just got Kareem Jackson back over there. He's doing a lot of big things of taking care of his guys. But I could see him at Bama, but I doubt that it happens. But that would be a power move for the alum. That would be a power move for these big money guys. That would be a power move for somebody who actually played the game at the high level.
It'd be a good look for Alabama.
Oh man, he'll be the best look that you can get other than Kirby Smart. It would be the best
look ever for Alabama. Like,
but even in that conversation that you were just talking about, Coach Charlie Strong's there too.
Ooh,
like people don't realize people don't realize he's on the staff.
No shit.
Forgot he was on the staff, man.
I'm glad you brought that up, T, because I was just sitting here thinking, how many guys went to Coach Saban's rehab? Like, how many coaches went to Coach Saban's coaching rehab when they failed, and he cycled them through, and they got to see the right way to do things, and then he spit them back out, and they became productive coaches again. I mean, I don't know the list, but it is fucking super long. I mean, super long.
That's a hell of a point.
Bill O'Brien. I mean, bop, bop, bop. If you fucked up or you didn't coach well, bam, Charlie Strong's there. He was at Texas. So, like, do you think that Coach Saban's been rolling through candidates for like 10, 12 years just to see if all these different guys, like, he was in 10, and we saw him. He was here in 15, and he was here in 17. And then I think he's been kind of planning this for a long time where kind of he doesn't pick the successor, but he did line everybody up like throughout the years so they can go, okay, you're not picking the successor, Nick, but let's be real.
Listen to you.
Have shown us every single head that we're going to sit here and evaluate here moving forward over the last 15, 17 years.
That's a great take, Matt, real quick. That's a hell of a take you just said. Like
that shit, Bailey.
Listen, bro, it's crazy you said that because I was telling somebody about this yesterday. Like you think about the guys who stayed underneath Coach Saban the longest, and then for me, my guy's Kirby Smart, and we can see that, right? And I say that because Kirby stayed there for 9 years. Kirby stayed underneath Coach Saban for the longest because he thought Nick was going to retire a long time ago. He wanted that job, right? When you got guys like even with the Coach Cochrans of the world was our strength conditioning coaches, like he's somewhere getting paid $1 million as a strength conditioning coach. Then he wanted to go be a special team coach, and so coach was like, "Hey, you want to go to Georgia and do it? That's where you can do it." Like I've had success with you at my weightlifting coach, my strength conditioning coach. Like we just don't try stuff here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I feel like he put these folks in places to see, like you just said, bro. Like I think you said it perfectly, and I think out of Steve, out of Coach Smart, I just don't see Lane, and a lot of people are saying Dabo, but there's a lot of people saying that they don't want Dabo near the program.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go that nerdy.
I mean, but you know, with that, I mean, it was the Pruitts out there. The Coach Pruitts was out there, and you know, Pruitt had his situation, and so his name haven't came directly up. But you think about, you know, Coach Pruitt coaching tree. I mean, what he did with Florida State, he won a national championship. He won one at Auburn. He won a couple with Bama. So it's kind of like, then he went to Tennessee. He was getting the program to where it should be, and they didn't give him enough. I mean, whatever happened in Tennessee happened.
Hey, we got about 5 minutes, fellas. 4 minutes. We got to take a break. I got a guest that's going to join us here after Steve Kim. I think my boy, who's been Belichick's O-line coach this whole year in New England, who's had a few health issues, my boy Adrian Clem, may be popping on and talk about Belichick here in about 5 minutes. Let me ask you guys something. We grew up together. Let me ask you guys something before you leave here at T-Rich on this T-Rich Thursday. Pound the like button and don't miss Big Matt McChesney 0 to 60 show right after this at 10 a.m. Central or Mountain. I'm sorry, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern on 0 to 60 on YouTube. As T-Rich is going to go over there for a few minutes with Matt and break this down some more in detail. We got Steve Kim next and Adrian Clem, possibly the New England Patriots offensive line coach. Let me ask you guys real quick, where do these guys go? And I got a graphic made. I want to show you guys, and I just wanted to get your take on these things, T-Rich and Matt, before you get out of here. Here's this. This is my list, Matt and T-Rich. Where do you guys see these guys? I think Dan Quinn fits the Seahawks to a T right now. I think Vrabel fits the Patriots over a Mayo who's just – I don't see Kraft hiring a rookie head guy. But go ahead and look at those. Call me crazy, whatever you think. I think there's some interesting ones. And the Pete Carroll to SC one is a dream of mine to end there. That is really more of a dream than it is a reality.
I like the Vrabel to the Patriots thing. You know, I read something last night that the Titans owner was really pissed off at Mike Vrabel after he did his Hall of Fame speech in New England because he was so complimentary of Kraft and the franchise, and all he did was sit up there and blow New England. And the guy's like, "Oh well, why don't you feel this way about Tennessee?" And he looked at him and goes, "Well, because you're the Titans." So I love Mike Vrabel. I think he's a hell of a football coach, and I think the Patriots would be smart to hire that guy, especially if Tennessee's just going to throw him to the wayside. That's so stupid. But I like number 8. The Raiders need to keep Antonio Pierce. Don't fuck this up.
Yeah. T-Rich, what you think, T-Rich? Anybody stands out?
I like Raheem Morris, T-Rich. Raheem Morris, the DC for the Rams right now. They got 3 black coaches in the NFL. They're all in the playoffs right now. I want to see Raheem get a shot. I think Tennessee fits him perfectly, a defensive-minded guy, younger guy who can, I think he fits that mold.
Yeah, I think with Raheem, man, I think it's just a situation for him to where, like, they're losing everything. He definitely got to start over, and he got a chance to build this from ground up. But do they give Raheem enough time to do that? That's my thing. The way they just did Mike is crazy to me. But I definitely think him at the Patriots is a good move. But definitely with Antonio Pierce, man. Like, the Raiders, don't fuck this up. Like, please don't. Because I'm telling you, y'all got a good thing going. He's part of the culture. He's played. He's a player's coach, but he know how to get business done. And I mean, man, I ain't see one name up there, man, that should have been up there, man. I want my boy JB at Bama, man. What's up? Ooh. What's up, man? We got the staff together. Big Smitty, Big Matt. What's up? We coming.
Hey, have you seen this picture these people made me, man?
Show the picture. Uh-oh. Yeah. Hey, it look natural, don't it? Look good.
But listen, why your team so on point, though?
Hey, T-Rich, somebody made that. An Alabama fan made that for me, dog, and sent it to me on social media. I don't know. I'm just like, these cats be doing that shit every year. I love the fans, dog, but just know, Greg Burns, what's his name? Greg Burns. He ain't fucking with me, T-Rich. Come on now.
Yeah, so weird.
I know, but if he was fucking with you, JB, would you have the kahuna? You have the balls, the intestinal fortitude to step up after
Hey, T-Rich, you coach running back for me? Shit.
I got you. I'm here. I mean you at the damn the little airport over here.
Hey, bro,
we're riding in together.
Hey, it's gonna be interesting, Big Matt. We're gonna be like, Deion Sanders, motherfucker.
rooted in substance over at Bama. We're rooted in substance.
Hey, T-Rich, man, I appreciate you joining me with Matt. I know you're going to go to Matt's show in about an hour and 15 minutes. Go follow him. Go check that out. We got to get on to a couple guys. Much love to you, man. Shout out to Nick Saban, Alabama legend, and T-Rich for playing for that man and representing him. And T-Rich, we'll see you next week. Matt, we'll see you tomorrow.
Peace. See ya.
Peace. Oh, my goodness. It's a loaded show today. God, dog.
Loaded show, man. What's going on, Steve? How you feeling right now in this exact moment?
Good. What's the latest?
Right now, exactly at this moment.
I feel the way I feel. It's the start of another great day.
Let me ask you something, Steve. What's going on with our boy Whitlock and Steve?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to ask you. I didn't want to die.
I don't know. I mean, all the people are taking sides, and obviously all the dummies that are groupies for Stephen A. This is what they say. Oh, man, he got cooked. It's like, people, grow up.
I watched that shit. I thought it was a bunch of nothing.
Here's the thing with Stephen A, though. He starts to bloviate, and he does this whole, like, I'm from Queens. Look, people, there's nothing more phony, fake, or fraud than saying, I'm from insert East Coast city, as if somehow that makes you tough. I've never actually seen a really great Mexican fighter say, oh, I'm from Mexico City. Or, well, that's a terrible Mexican accent. I want to apologize.
Asian,
I know, that was a little Indian. Wow. Indian. But when you have to say stuff, when people say, yo, man, he cooked him, yo. I'm like, okay.
Who was that? Who was that?
A lot of people.
And what was that accent?
Then a lot of the ESPN personalities start speaking out, and I'm like, I get it. You hate Whitlock.
Hey, by the way, though,
that's fine.
Stephen A. has yet to answer Whitlock's question, is what I find ironic.
Look, Stephen A. is a very good performer. He's crafted a great career. I've enjoyed some of his work, by the way. I remember he did a show on ESPN too. I think it's called Quite Frankly or Speak Freely.
Quite Frankly, yeah, I remember that.
I like that show. He used to have a lot of boxers on. And his coverage of the NBA, I thought he actually understood the culture of the league. He was very close with Allen Iverson. I enjoyed that stuff. But everything else right now is surface level. But obviously a lot of the black culture is going to side with Stephen A. Smith because Whitlock is a coon, sellout, uncle, whatever. I get it. He's one of them that even though you say you love black empowerment, it's only certain blacks you empower. Again, I'll just leave it at that. But it is what it is. I was more focused on a lot of the stuff that happened in football yesterday, and I had my own story to write. So, I think you're right, Coach. I don't think Stephen A. Smith actually addressed a lot of what was said. What I thought needed to be answered in terms of the substantive claims made by Jason.
It's funny though that we go out here, black community, and I'm not speaking for black community, but I am at the same time. All my boys and hood cats that I know, a lot of you have met a few of them. They can't stand Stephen A. And they haven't liked Stephen A. for years. They used to call Stephen A. what brothers call Whitlock now.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's all levels.
I know people that don't like both. Obviously,
I know,
we know my connection to Whitlock. Without Whitlock, I wouldn't even probably be in this position. He gave me opportunity to get my foot in the door. So my connection with Whitlock is different. I don't know Stephen A. personally, so I really can't comment on him personally. But just talking to people in the world, in the sports world, I'll say that it's like with Whitlock, you either love Whitlock and agree with like everything he says almost, or you absolutely despise him. You guys wouldn't imagine how many people have hit me up just over the years. How'd you work with him? Well, what is it like working with him? Oh man, he says so crazy. And then there's other people too who's like, man, Stephen A. just be up there saying whatever. So I don't know. Anytime you're a talking head, as we all know, especially but Steve, for sure, you're a journalist, a talking head, and you're putting yourself out there. People are going to disagree with you, and if they disagree with you strongly, that turns into like a strong dislike or even a hate. Unfortunately.
Tim Bradley said it best when he was on with me and Mario, because he's a lightning rod, because Tim goes against certain things, and Tim has the greatest attitude ever, and I like to think I influenced him a little bit. He says, hey, I want to tell these people, just remember this, I get paid for my opinion. You don't. And I'm like, hey,
I like Tim, bro. I think he does a hell of a job on air. He's real authentic.
And he says, Steve, I don't care about the people that rip me. I live a good life.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, right now, as the football gods have spoken and they've kind of said, you're going to lose a few of these guys today. In the last 24 hours, we've lost 3 legends, icons, mentors, whatever we want to call leaders of men. What is your current feeling? I mean, I'm a little emotional as a coach, knowing these guys all personally, sending guys to these guys to play for them, having sat in meetings, sit in their office, they've sat in mine, being able to text them year to year and certain things. What do you think? What do you feel right now with losing these guys as a football savant as you are? Even though you're not maybe partial to any one of these programs, you still know the feeling of it, what it is to lose a guy like this.
Well, I think, they had different styles, but I think this is the end of the era of the hard, tough coach, even though Pete was a lot more energetic and positive. But specifically when it comes to Belichick and Saban, I would suggest anyone that has any interest in this or is going to be coaching, watch that HBO special they did about 4 or 5 years on their journey. I thought it was really interesting about how they had to break down film manually, how they had to, when they had to like chart plays, how they had to do it. And I'm like, wow, these guys really came up, and they did it in an era where Belichick's first job, I think, in the NFL was as a special team coach with Ted Marchibroda, and he was making like $2 a day or something, and then he worked his way up, and then Saban with his journey after his playing days, I believe Toledo. And those two guys, to me, represent a style of coaching that may not be welcome and may not work because it's not always player friendly. It's certainly not adhering to like player empowerment all that much. These are old school tactics. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. When you play for those two and you go through the process, you're going to find out it's not always fun, but it is rewarding because again, what is rewarding is not always fun. And I think he's one of those coaches or teachers, both of them, that you have a greater or a deeper appreciation for what they did for your life long after you play for them, because they say things or they have philosophies that you agree. Like the one thing about Saban that I love, my favorite Saban phrase is something that he said to his team probably about 5 years ago. Bama's practicing and he gets in front of them. He said, "Hey guys, I want to tell you something. You guys keep thinking we're going to do this to the point where we'll always do it right." He goes, no, not here. We're going to get you to a point you could never do it wrong. That's Saban football. That is the process. It's about doing something over and over again. And I love the fact that he would coach a player the same way in a tie game in overtime as he would 59-0. So if you blow a coverage or you don't set the table and set the edge on the run game defensively, he's going to be on your ass.
No bad
He
habits.
does not care about the score. He does not care about the situation. You played something wrong, you're going to hear it. And they're not trying to be cool. They're not trying to be friends. And I think Pete Carroll kind of bridged that because he was more energetic, a little friendlier guy. And I was surprised Seattle moved out Pete Carroll. I think they had a disappointing year, but Coach, I think they have a really good foundation and a base. I don't think that thing was necessarily broken.
And Pete sounded and looked surprised too. If you look at his press conference and you look at the comments he made literally 24 hours before the news broke, it sounded like he was planning to come back. And that's why, I know we're kind of talking today's show, using today's show as a way to kind of, pay homage to all three of the legends and almost say goodbye. But I don't think this is a goodbye to Pete Carroll. I think it's more of a see you later. I don't think it's a goodbye to Bill Belichick. I think it's a see you later. I think the only one of these three coaches that is officially done, I think, is Nick Saban. That's because he actually decided on his own, I'm stepping away, still pretty much at the top. I was a play away from being back in the Natty. I think he's going to go into the analyst booth, or I'm hearing he might be on game day down the road. I think that's going to be his lane. But I think Pete Carroll, we showed a clip earlier of him saying, I'm not tired at all. I'm still very energetic. I'm more motivated now than ever. Pete Carroll will be somewhere else. I don't know where, but I think he'll continue coaching.
Steve, let me ask you.
The thing with Saban is at 72, I think he told Chris Lowe of ESPN, to do what I do at 72 is a lot harder than when I was 62. And in the NIL transfer portal era, where you literally have to re-recruit 70 players every year. You're just not bringing in 20 to 25 new ones. You're literally re-recruiting your whole roster. I think he got tired of it. And then your strong safety has a good year. It's like, hey, coach, can I get $100,000 more? Who wants to deal with that? At least in the National Football League, you have binding contracts that are multi-year, and then players have to go through a certain process to then qualify for free agency. So I actually think right now the pro game as a good head coach is probably an easier job than it is in college.
Yeah, I think Saban will be on Pat McAfee today if he chooses to do that. Right, a day after retiring, he's going to be interested if he shows up, pops up on there. I think he's getting paid, I'm sure, so maybe he does. But I got to ask you, out of all three of these guys, definitely feels that Nick Saban's the one that said enough is enough because of the landscape. The other two are in more, at least a professional manner, don't have to deal with, the NIL and the transfer portal and all that, even though they're dealing with other things like players not playing through certain injuries or being hurt, not injured. I know there's another aspect to it, but it's a little bit more controlled. Nick is like, enough is enough. Pay to play is what this is. I'm out. I think he truly stepped away from it, where the other two are going to come back and play. So let's start one by one here. I already on record, I think Pete Carroll's the best of all of them just because of certain things. But where do you start in filling the shoes of these guys? Like, who's going to be the hardest shoe to fill? I've asked all these guys. No one's been able to answer that question because it is a tough one. But who's the hardest shoe to fill between these three legendary guys? Is it a Saban? Is it Belichick in the NFL? Is it Pete Carroll's energy and what he's built? Or is it where are you at with the hardest shoe to fill stance?
I think with the status that Nick Saban has in that part of the country, and specifically that state of Alabama, he's a god. I mean, people's lives, I think people are going to remember this. I'm not making an exact comparison, but there are certain historical things that have happened in our lives that we all remember where we were. Like people talk about the JFK assassination. They say everyone knows where they were. When the space shuttle blew up in 1986, I think a lot of kids my age, we knew what classroom we were in because that's when it happened. When Nick Saban's announcement went over social media, I guarantee you every person that either cares about college football or lives in the state of Alabama knew exactly where they were, and they'll never forget it. That's how big it is. Alabama football is the franchise. There's nothing really else that matters as much. All due respect to Auburn, who, by the way, treated that like a national title game, right? That says a lot that a guy's retirement can spark off that type of reaction. I still think that's the best job to take over because there's an infrastructure. There is a mandate from the administration that we are a football institution, and we're not going to let the education embarrass us. Forget that. We have our priorities correct here. And it's still a pretty good team. They've recruited at a very high level still. I mean, Saban left a really good situation for whoever comes in. They got to fix that wide receiver room a little bit, and they got to get Milroe right. But everything else is in place for the most part. When it comes to Belichick, here's the thing. He can still coach defensively. His drafting and acquiring the offensive talent, that's the biggest issue that I have with Belichick, who's a legend. What he has done to that side of the ball, and whoever hires him, I'm not so sure I give him the whole football operation.
The GM, too, yep.
That's where I'm like, As for Pete Carroll, Pete left a really good young team. I just said to myself, they weren't that far from making the playoffs. Players seem to still respond to him. I don't understand why Seattle made this move. Yeah. I was really surprised. But the other two guys I'm not that surprised by because even though they're all approximately the same age, they just seem and look a little bit older while Pete's that energetic guy.
Yeah, Pete's still walking around chewing
that gum, wearing out that Wrigley, Yeah,
I feel the same. JB, before we had any guests today, he asked me the same question. And I chose Saban as well. I just feel like I can't think, and you guys correct me, and you're the historian, Steve. I can't remember or even think of a year since Saban has been a head coach where he had a true down year. It's like even when he has a down year, even this year was kind of like a down year. He wins 10 games and he's a play away from being in the Natty. Where in comparison, obviously NFL college is different, but Bill Belichick last couple of years, I've seen down years. Now they're having a whole argument. Was it Brady? Was it Belichick? That's going to be there in the air. Pete Carroll, you know, we've seen some down years as well in the NFL. But with Saban, I just haven't seen. I don't know a time where I've seen him on the ground. He's undefeated. He's never lost. You know, like the Ball, what's his name? The Ball brothers never lost. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to really. I can't put Belichick or Pete Carroll above him. I just can't.
I mean, every year since 2008, that was his second year.
Yeah.
These things were inevitably going to happen. They were going to win the SEC at Alabama. They're going to play for a national title and or be in the playoffs. And every year that they weren't undefeated was considered an off year. That's the standard that he set.
That's crazy.
And if you look at it, that's why I didn't understand when people said that Harbaugh outcoached Saban. I'm like, wait a minute. If they make a stop on 4th and 2 with 2.5 minutes to go at 20-13, I don't know. There's none of that talk. That day they were very close to beating Michigan.
Bama's national champs right now. Is he still walking away?
They make that one stop. And so
I think so, JB. I think he's still gone. Yeah.
I don't know if you can do much more. I don't think the legacy is going to be hurt if he coaches 3 more years and don't win a natty, or if he wins 3 more.
But that's you don't understand the Alabama fan base.
Sure, I get that part.
That's the gift and the curse of being in a place that is so rabid in their support.
But I'm talking about as far as for him specifically. I don't know.
No, I'm with you, but I just remember on Message Board Geniuses after the Texas game, I saw some tweets where Bama fans are saying Saban's lost his touch. The game has passed him by.
They were saying that. They were saying I might even joked about that on the show because Belichick was struggling at the same time. I think I said something about like the old guys. It's time to move on. You know, obviously being a little bit funny there, but I don't know. I do, but to that point, I do think this is like the era of where they're like, you know, it's the transition. It's like we're going to the younger coaches. You know, the guy I know JB was, you know, he doesn't like it because a lot of the old school macho tough like coaches that you grew up on are no longer in the game for the most part. You know, you got like a Tomlin, a Dan Campbell. They're not old, but they kind of got that defensive tough mentality. But for the most part, it's a lot of these young offensive minded analytical guys, and that's where the game is at.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Hey, Smitty, Steve, before you leave, Urban Meyer's a name everyone's going to want to know. You know, could be argued the second best college football coach. I think that the 3 that should be on some sort of wall of legends. It should be Bear Bryant, Pete Carroll, Nick Saban, and Urban Meyer. That's my personal opinion. Now, those are the 4 to me. I don't know if Bama would call or did call him. I know they've called Lanning and Sark, but Urban, I don't think Bama wants to go that route because I think they'll say Urban will leave in 4 years. I think they know that they got to go after a Lanning, in my opinion, young, energetic go-getter that's going to be there for 15. Because there's no other job you're going to leave Bama for, right? Unless something dramatic happens. There's no other job that's cream of the crop, bigger and better, or that we think than Bama. So I think they're going after a younger guy that's going to sit there and be there like Saban was. And that's why I don't believe they'll go after an Urban or older guy like that. I think they want a younger go-getter, and I think Lanning fits the bill to a T. I think that's who gets the job. I think that's who will get the job. But having said that, we did a little coaching carousel thing, and we want to do it with you. I got a dream more than a reality that Pete ends up at SC and gets Lincoln Riley the hell out of Dodge. And that's my dream more than – and I don't think Lincoln could ever coach in the NFL, but I just was like, go to Atlanta. Shit, get out of here. Jimbo to Oregon is far-fetched, but I think if Jimbo doesn't get a job this year, he's going to be put in the Ed Ogeron classification and be forgotten. And I think Jimbo has to go after one of these jobs. But having said that, where does Belichick fit in this? Because I did not put him on there for a reason. I like him in Washington, but I also like him in Buffalo when Buffalo loses and they fire McDermott. I think that Belichick becomes a Bill. I think Belichick becomes a Bill and gives New England a shit sandwich. Do you see Belichick in any of these current jobs on the board right here? Or do you see him?
Belichick. He's not going to go to any franchise that does not give him complete control. I don't know the situation there. As it relates, look, the advantage you have with Dan Lanning, like you said, he's a younger coach, but he is now used to being in the NIL transfer portal era. I think it was a very difficult adjustment for these older coaches who did it for 30, 40 years a certain way. And then all of a sudden you got players that could transfer almost every year and asking for raises. Lanning's used to it. This is what he knows. So that's the advantage of getting a Lanning. Like, this new landscape to him is the landscape. There's nothing new about it.
Right.
Lincoln Riley in the National Football League would be an absolute disaster. It would be Bobby Petrino and not as good.
No, it'd be Cliff Kingsbury.
Right. So I just can't see it. Pete Carroll,
Is he too old to coach college is my question to you.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say he'd have to have a great staff of energetic go-getters that did a lot of the legwork. Again, Pete Carroll last coached college football in 2009. There's a lot that has happened. And he is older now, though. No matter what type of vibe he gives off, which is very youthful, exuberant. I don't know how many guys, unless it's like your alma mater, would want to go back and you're younger. Like even DeMeco Ryans. He had a great career at Alabama, had a really nice NFL career. But he's got a great situation. He's got a franchise quarterback that he can live with for the next 12 years of his life. That's always going to give him a shot. And he gets an off season. He doesn't have to deal with NIL. He doesn't have to deal with the portal. If I'm DeMeco, I'm like, roll tide, but I'm in Houston. I don't know if I'd change that, to be honest with you.
We agree.
The other thing is, Kirby Smart, people keep forgetting Kirby was a player and an alumnus at UGA. He's a Bulldog. He's built a great program over there. Why would he leave? I don't think buy much credence into that. Plus, he's a Bulldog. He played there. Number 16. Yeah. He was a defensive back. People may not believe it, but he was a defensive back.
To my fight to that question, and I've already started with the chat early this morning that are a bunch of fucking idiots. I got to ask you. I think it's more of a respect, paying homage thing of my mentor who coached me on how to be a head coach. And I'm going to go back to there. Now, T. Richardson's talked to a bunch of alum, he said, and they all say that Kirby would be their number one choice. Now, is he Bama's number one choice? I don't know that question. T. Rich doesn't know that question. He doesn't, he knows Greg Byrne well, but he's like, I don't know. I don't know if Kirby leaves. I wouldn't be shocked if there was a carousel of Kirby going to Bama, Lanning going to Georgia, because they both have ties. They both were there recently. I think that could happen, but I also think they go younger with Lanning and Kirby stays there, and him and Lanning have a rivalry there for the next 10 years or whatever. It's a tough one, but in regards to the NFL and to the New England and in Seattle, if Quinn, who is going to be very highly touted after, regarded in the NFL as a great D coordinator, just like Pete Carroll was when he left New England and the New York Jets, by the way, led those teams to playoffs that people don't remember. Do you think that Quinn is just another Pete Carroll, or do they go offense in Seattle, or do they stay with a Dan Quinn who took a team to a Super Bowl in Atlanta but came short? Are they going after that? I think Quinn's a hell of a coach. I think he is going to get a second chance. But are they going to go offense or are they going to go defense?
If I'm Seattle, I look at Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do go with a rookie, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. But, Dan Quinn's a really good football guy. He really is. And defensively, I don't think they were great. Still thought they should have got a big body up front in the draft last year. You also have to understand, is Geno Smith the quarterback of the future? I thought he took a little bit of a step back this year. Earned a big contract.
Me too.
But can Ben Johnson rescue that? I just wonder, is Harbaugh coming to the Chargers? I think that's the only move that'll get people in this city to care about that franchise. They barely care about the Rams because they left for 25 years. They really don't care about the Chargers. If I'm the Chargers, I make sure I have khakis on my sideline. I'm not letting that go.
What if you can't get that? Do you go after Pete?
Oh, now that's not bad. That's not bad because Pete will bring a little bit of renewed interest.
Lives in Palos Verde, got a house in Rancho. I mean,
And unlike the other guy, Brandon Staley, I think he brings about a lot of respect.
Yeah.
I just never understood the whole Brandon Staley thing.
If I'm a Charger, I'm going after Pete Carroll if I can't get Harbaugh right now.
I said it earlier. I think it makes perfect sense, honestly. It's perfect sense.
The last one before you leave, who's taking over New England? I like Vrabel. I don't like Mayo because he's a rookie, and I don't think Kraft's going to go with the rookie head guy. I think they'll try to keep Mayo there, develop him further under a Vrabel type of guy. I don't know if they're going to go young guy. I think they stay defensive-minded guy.
Real quick, though, before Steve jumps in, like, you guys think they should just stay on, like, with the Belichick tree, so to speak? Because, like, I feel like if you're moving on from Belichick, let's move
Remember,
on.
Vrabel's not a Belichick tree.
I know, but he played under, you know what I'm saying?
Right, but remember, Darnell, there's a difference, though. He was a head coach before. He didn't get a job because he was a Belichick assistant.
Right.
He's a head coach, and he had a lot of success. I mean, look, they could Tannehill kind of took him as far as he could. Look, one thing with Vrabel, his teams are going to be tough. They're going to be hard-nosed. They're going to be physical. It's going to be a group of MMA cage fighters. But you got to –
Mac Jones,
that's the problem. But again, you're in position to draft a Drake May. So that comes right off the bat. I mean, they got a top 5 draft choice, so they can take care of that immediately. But then Vrabel now would have to then say, okay, who's my coordinator?
Right.
Who's going to shepherd this guy? So all of those things have to be asked in that interview process. But Mike Vrabel is a little bit different than most Belichick guys because the guys that have really failed from the Belichick tree, which is most of them, they get that job as being assistants, and so I don't know that doesn't necessarily apply here.
Hey, something before you leave. I just got a text message. If something were to happen and Dan does take that job and leaves Oregon once again, which I've come out to say, I wanted to talk about Oregon and why people say it's a gold mine, but yet there's been no gold found and people keep leaving there. A name to watch to replace Lanning, Mike Norvell. Interesting.
Ooh. So that'd be the payback for Willie Taggart. That's
interesting.
Look, this is what Oregon has to do. The next coach they get, they need to put in a huge buyout, saying, okay, hey, guys, we like you, and we like you so much that if you leave before your contract's over, that next team owes us $50 million.
Hey, Lanning's got $20 million.
All right, well, then make it 50. Honestly, because I think Lanning is an excellent young coach. He is building a monster up there in Eugene. He's dominating recruiting on the West Coast, which really bothers a lot of SC fans about Lincoln Riley. They're going to be one of the contenders in the Big Ten next year because they have a veteran quarterback to replace their other veteran quarterback. And so if you're going to lose another coach without even a really a long run, I would put in a punitive. I'd ask that guy, hey, you really want to be Oregon's coach? Yeah, I'll do anything. Great. $30 million buyout. But, I mean, listen, coaches have got to have a little more balls themselves. Say, you know what? I'm going to stay here for 10 years and build. I'm sick of coaches leaving all the time after promising that they don't. Guys, show some character and actually live to your own. You don't preach character and loyalty to your players when you're job hopping every 3 years and you're getting paid a lot more. I hate when coaches cry, I did this. Timeout. So you took your daughter out of the school where she had to make new friends. Your wife hated a new area, all because you want to make a little bit more. Shut the fuck up. And you should have just been a better coach.
And then we get mad when the players do the same.
I have standards for everybody. Nobody's off the hook here.
Steve, that's why we love you on this show.
I mean,
because we get mad when the players do it, but they just following the leaders, right?
But it's changed time. We only remember what we remember.
Joe Paterno was this close to taking, and I know people are going to bring up, but Joe Paterno, I think in the early 70s, was this close. He had already agreed to the Patriots job. He had told the Sullivan family, okay, I'm in. And he had reservations about it. The night before they were going to go to a press conference to sign the deal, his wife, Sue, they're in bed at the house that they still live in to this day or to the day he died. His wife was crying. She said, Joe, why are we doing this? We like it here. We're good here. Like the money's never been an issue. We're not pro people. We are college people. And Joe said, honey, you're right. I'm calling it off. All right. So if your quality of life is defined by 2 or 3 more extra $1 million, and then you're still unhappy, that's a you problem. But I am sick and tired of college coaches taking jobs, professing loyalty, and they can't even put in 5 years. I had someone tell me that they knew Manny Diaz was a bit of a fraud when he just left Temple without coaching a game. Then this is a long-time football guy. He said, Steve, when I saw that, I said, that's a character flaw.
Well, I've been told by greats in the game that he was that way back at Texas.
Well, and look, in Miami, I didn't like that hire. I wasn't aboard with that hire. But I'm not the AD either. But I think coaches have to realize sometimes you're good where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hope Lance Leipold stays at Kansas the rest of his career, because that could be a fun, special run. And by the time he's done, they will name football buildings and stadiums after him. He's that important.
Like Mark Few for what he's done at Gonzaga, staying there, because you could get DUIs and shit in there and not have to worry about anything. You get that DUI in the USC, you're fired. So Gonzaga, he could be that guy, the big fish in the small pond. Too far, and I was being facetious and laughing and joking.
And by the way, one thing with Lanning, he can win a national title at Oregon. They've made the playoffs. They've been in the final game. They're in a major conference. So I get it if your aspiration is to go from a program that could top out at 8 wins and you want to say, hey, I really want to play for the national title. He's already there at Oregon. Oregon's done all of that. The last 15 years, they've been a top 10 program outside of Helfrich ruining that thing at the end. I
agree. As you walk out here and go to Whitlock or wherever, let me ask you this. Youth football in California is trying to be banned. There's a bill that already in the first stages have passed 5-2 vote to ban it. Let me ask you this. Are you worried about boxing being the next sport?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Look, this is the state that we live in. And for not people that complain about it, but the people that don't like it, I have a question. Did you vote for this leadership? Ask yourself that.
Yep.
All these people complaining about sanctuary states. I'm with you. I feel your pain. Did you vote for that guy who said welcome in?
Right.
Yep.
These are questions that have to be asked.
I agree.
Thanks,
Steve. If you ain't doing shit all weekend, we can do a palooza. Hit me up.
I'll try. I got boxing to watch, so you know how it goes.
I know. And you don't know your password. You don't know your password, so you can't turn it on here.
Talk to you later.
Later.
All right, peace.
All right, Big Man. We got loaded, Big Smitty. We got a loaded lineup.
I can't even breathe right now. I'm trying to stretch. My legs is tight. Sitting down.
That's because you've been eating cupcakes and peanut butter cookies all night.
Hold on. Who been eating cupcakes? Let me call your ass out and what you had on at 5:45 in the morning two shows ago. I ain't say nothing, but all right.
I'm about to bring a cupcake in here right now. I gotta eat all my sweet shit, get it out the way before I really go on this diet. Get ripped again for the hose and do all my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you just throw it away.
I can't throw away that type of stuff.
What you mean?
This show is the most racist RACCIIISSS show on planet Earth. Appreciate you, Tom Brady's deflated football with your great profile and picture. We got a lot to break down, Big Smitty. Let's take a break. Come back. We got who would you start an NFL franchise with? Top 5 list. I'll murder Smitty on that one again as well. Plus, we're gonna have some more insight on who's taking the Alabama job, who's taking the Patriots, and who's the best to take over in Seattle with Geno Smith. We're going to break that down as well. Don't miss it. We got a lot to discuss still. Twitter's going crazy. Some of the videos we posted already got over 30,000 views. Shout out to everybody. We got Pat McAfee, Aaron Rodgers news. We got all this different stuff going on. It's crazy. 2024 already.
Yeah, somebody told me that the McAfee show was getting canceled today before Belichick knew. It might have been somebody in the chat that's talking shit. Ain't no way they're gonna cancel the McAfee show today.
I think the slot that he has is going to be Belichick's news conference. So is that a shot at, you know what I'm saying? We don't know. We're gonna dive in. Let's back to that first. Take us to commercial. We'll be back in 4 minutes. I gotta take a pee.
I think everything going on with Zach this year, I've had dogs my whole life. My first dog that I really had was a golden retriever. when I was in 9th or 10th grade. And that dog I had till I was like 30. So I just became a big golden retriever pet owner just because, everybody gets into a certain breed or a certain kind of dog. And for me, having kids and things like that, they just kind of became family members. And so I've had them for, over 30 or 40 years now. And I've always done more than one. I see you have a couple yourself. I just think it's cool when they have a companion, and so I think it helps them out and it keeps them, their spirit up. And so, yeah, I've always been a dog person. This year, I just decided to take Ben out with me, not for the intention of social media or anything like that, but just kind of having my guy with me. And I did it the first time out to Seattle for Oregon, Washington. And these NFL stadiums on Thursday nights, it's funny. I took him on a Thursday night with me because I do the whole week. I leave on Wednesday. I leave today, and then I'm gone till Sunday. So I took him to Thursday, and I brought him into our meeting, a big production meeting in this hotel. And Al Michaels was kind of not a bit, I could tell right away he wasn't a big dog guy. And so Ben just kind of walks around. And when he got over to Al to say hi, Al was just kind of like, so I kind of sensed that, but Al didn't say anything. So I went over and I got him, brought Ben back over. And then after that, the next week, I was like, where's Ben? And I was like, I just thought you didn't want him in the meeting. And he goes, oh, you kidding me? You need to go get him. So I went back up to the room, brought him down. And so from that point on, Al was more intrigued by Ben than anybody. And you know how dogs are, right? Like their personality, they just kind of get around people and kind of do it in their own way. So Al's come full circle on hanging out with him. And so, yeah, I did it that first time. And I just realized how much he impacts everybody that he came in contact with and just started bringing him every single week from that point.
If I took Lamar out of Baltimore, I think Lamar is still a playoff team with that defense. I think Baltimore is a playoff team with that defense in the running game without Lamar. If I took Matthew Stafford out of LA, that team is a 2-win team.
I agree with that.
They are possibly on a run and a collision course to playing in the Super Bowl.
We're reaching on that.
Putting on the record right now that the Rams are a team that no one wants to play. By the way, the Rams beat who? The Browns, who beat the Ravens. The Rams should have beat Baltimore in Baltimore. They got jobbed on a punt block in the back. Or they beat Baltimore, by the way, and have won 7 in a row if they beat that Baltimore team, by the way, that no one's talking about how good this Rams team is playing. Matthew Stafford is the hands-down best quarterback in the NFL. Let's just be honest. It's not even close. Now, if you know quarterback in football, if you say that someone else is out there throwing the football better than Matthew Stafford, then you're just blind.
Josh Allen, I can argue, is all I'm saying.
Josh has had a lot of up and down. He's more up and down than the Dow Jones, Mike Cal would say.
Most turnovers in football. I love Josh Allen and all that. He has the most turnovers in football, which leads to early exits in playoffs.
But, Coach, look, I'm with you about Stafford. He is conducting.
Back first, of course. Look at this shit right here. Someone made me some of these. Let me break it down real quick. Somebody made me these cupcakes, man. And I'm going to tell you, they're so moist. I don't understand how these are so fire. They made me like 5 different ones. A lemon blueberry one was unbelievable. This is a straight up chocolate with some sort of, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you, these are fire. Let me get a little snippet. I won't eat too much on the show, but that's stupid. That is dumb. God damn it. That is dumb. Cupcakes are a metabolism killer. I almost spit up my shit, homie. Holy fuck. the fucking picture of health has come out and said cupcakes are a metabolism killer. This fuck right here. Oh, fuck. Keith, let's just keep it real. I could eat 600 cupcakes today and look better than your fat, wobbly body motherfucking ass. You ain't got an ounce of athleticism in your fat, wobble body ass, and you're going to talk about metabolism, motherfucker? Holy shit. I want to keep that shit on all show. I want to keep this shit up all show. While Smitty's taking a shit, I want to keep this shit on all fucking show long for your motherfucking ass. You've got to be absolutely shitting me. God damn, Hector, can you believe the audacity of some of these motherfuckers? Can you believe the audacity on some human beings? Now, hopefully Keith's just making a joke of it, and I'm making a joke of him, but we like Keith, you know what I'm saying? But the audacity is unbelievable, ain't it? That cupcake's not banging, though. It's smacking, I'll tell you right now. Got a lot going on, man. We pound the like button, man. We should have 1,000. We had 1,200 people in here, man. I appreciate you guys jumping in here for a T-Rich Thursday in the aftermath of 3 legendary coaches being, well, moving on. How about that? Moving on. Shout out to everybody, including Keith, wobble body ass. We got a lot going on, man. Let me dive into some shit real quick. Pat Riley is a straight up G. And I want to dive into this because I got friends that have gone through divorces and shit. He waited for Spoelstra to go through a divorce. And after it was finalized, he waited for all that money to be gone because she cannot touch new money, and gave him a $120 million contract. His ex-wife cannot touch 1 ounce of it. Shout out to Pat Riley for being a G. And I had to break that down. Love it. Love to see shit like that. And it was a classic move by a classy guy and Pat Riley.
It truly was, man. Like when you really think about it, and you know, he could have easily allowed this woman to take all this man's money. You know what I mean? He said, you know, we're going to wait till the divorce is final. And then we're going to give you that back.
Start talking. Smitty, he just came out of the shit and started talking like he hadn't been gone for 20 minutes. Like he just came right in, fella. Hey, Smitty is the guy that Whitlock was talking about. He moves the post where you just don't think about what's happened. And then he just started talking. Fuck, Smitty's good. He legit. That motherfucker just came in and it truly was. And that motherfucker was gone for 20 minutes shitting.
I've been here the whole time. What are you talking about?
Hey, by the way, you missed it. But this motherfucker, I came in eating a cupcake, okay? Mm-hmm. I wanted to do some Smitty shit, bring in some food. And I just took a bite and said how unbelievable it was. Look at your boy. The audacity of this motherfucker. Now, I've already blasted him. We don't need to go in it anymore. You can see the chat. But why is your boy...
Hey, listen, experience is the best teacher. Keith obviously likes food, has ate probably his fair share of cupcakes in his life, and he had to learn the hard way. Now he's just passing along the knowledge to you.
I almost passed out. I almost spit up all my shit, homie. The whole chat was entertained while you took a 20-minute shit, and I was like, look, the thing about it is,
I had some Panda Express last night, y'all, and I had to get it out.
has the audacity? I could eat 6,000 of these cupcakes and look better than Keith.
6,000, I don't know.
Oh, I could eat 6,000. I'm an athlete.
Because you white, though. You know, white, once y'all eat a whole bunch of food, your face get all fucking red.
Different. I'm different breed. Different breed. Different breed. Anyway, the Eric Spoelstra thing, great, because I know some people that have a lot of money that's going through a lot of drama, and I know how to get, and that's why I'm always going to be single. And that's how I am with AEs. And I that's just how I live, right? I live that way. Shout out to listen, I envy folks with a family. I envy the wife and the kids and living in the house and I envy that shit. I got good friends that have that. I'm just not that guy, man. I'm not a good human. So anyway, let's get into let's dive into the Wink and Daboll have a mutually parted ways finally in New York. Now, I have a little insight on this information as well. From what I understood is just earlier the year, they got into a few altercations during the games, in meetings, etc. Then Daboll fired, two guys that he allowed Wink to bring in. We talked about it yesterday briefly, but it's finally mutually done there. We didn't have any official resignation on record, so we were just talking about it. But it's done. They moved on. Unfortunate. Wink's a great D coordinator. I don't think he's a head coach, but he's a great D coordinator. And Daboll's still proven to be a head coach. We don't know how good he took a team to a playoff. He has progressed. This year he lost everybody into injury. From their tight end to their quarterback to their O-line. I mean, they've been decimated. But segue to that, Daniel Jones has been announced as the starting quarterback for the New York Giants moving forward. So that is official. It's moving forward. You can say whatever you want. We don't even have a topic for this.
Looks like the Giants are going to be losing for a lot longer.
Before you say it, my topic for this, though, is by saying that, what I just mentioned to you, and you love Daniel Jones, where does Saquon? What does he do?
I
caught that.
Say
the ass end of it.
Saquon is definitely gone for sure. He's not coming back to a losing organization, and I'm calling him losing organization now, not the history of it. And as a mutual football fan, JB, it truly hurts me that they are okay with continuing to go down the path of being mediocre. When I think about the Giants, I think about the Eli Manning years and upsetting Tom Brady in a Super Bowl multiple times, and having Pro Bowl quarterback star, just stars around the field. That's what I grew up seeing and watching and loving. And now they're committing to this guy, Daniel Jones, who's not even average. He's below average, in my opinion. And I just feel like they're committing to being mediocre. So Saquon, who is not mediocre, who's the one great thing they had on that team, there's no reason why he would stay. He's free to go wherever he wants to. So I'm trying to think about where are the best options for Saquon. Obviously, you got to afford him, obviously. And so I'm not talking money because that's a whole other conversation you got to dive into. But just looking at teams that needs a running back now, I mean, Tennessee needs one, but I don't think he goes to Tennessee because they're a losing organization too. You could argue, I don't know if they got the money though.
Why are we giving Saquon so much like
Baltimore would be scary?
Why are we allowing him to pick like he's a fucking 6-time fucking Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winning running back? Why does he get to pick a winning team? Motherfucker, go earn your shit. You ain't done nothing, homie. Why are we getting this motherfucker such a pass?
I don't know if Baltimore can afford him.
I get more Derrick Henry love than I would Saquon. And listen, I love Saquon. I think he's a freak, but he's injury prone. He's missed a season and a half. Why are we giving him such a big pass? Then Derrick Henry should go to wherever.
No, Derrick, yeah, I do. Derrick's a dog. I didn't say Saquon's better than Derrick. Derrick's just a little older than Saquon, so that's all that is.
Saquon's as talented as anybody, but I don't think he's done anything to where he gets to choose his team. I think he needs to play.
Well, no, he's literally a free agent, right? So like
no, he's not. He was on the franchise tag. Yeah. He's told the Giant, which he said out a little bit. He didn't want to preseason and all that. He has told the franchise he's not going to do that again. Obviously, that's where that was the whole issue with him. So he's asking him to move him if he's franchise tagged. And the franchise tag, I believe, is like 11 mil. And he's like, no, I'm not doing 11 mil. So he wants more money. Again, we're back to our conversation in August with you and I before the season about the running back being disserviced and undervalued. He's in a catch-22 situation, dog. Because what team's going to say, all right, here, come on in 3 knee injuries later and give you 15 mil?
Well, he's been overall healthy the last 2 years. He saw a little bit this year, but it wasn't nothing like major. So the last 2 years, he's been pretty healthy. I'm seeing it says he's set to become an unrestricted free agent in March of 2024. So at that point, assuming we get there, then that means he will be able to choose.
That's a good payday for a running back, in my opinion, dog. 11 mil.
Yeah, I'm not saying it ain't. I'm not. Listen, $1 million is good payday for me. So I mean, I'm not the right person to ask right now. But you know,
well, we could talk about Saquon all we want, but what Saquon isn't is a guy that I start my franchise with. And Big Smitty and I are going to have a little debate before we finish the show up with a few other things. We still got to talk Kawhi Leonard signing for a $153 million new contract, which again goes to our whole point of the Ben Simmons, John Morant, and the NBA guaranteeing money. I hope it works out, dog. Listen, I'm a Kawhi fan. I love Kawhi Leonard. I think he's great and all that shit, and he's a killer, and he wins when he's playing. I think he's a top 5 player when he does play.
He's a dog, bro. He's a dog.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. But I don't know if I could give him $153 million right now. No way. I'm just like, holy shit. We're paying people out like crazy with the money, dog. But he signed. The
market is the market, JB. Stop counting these brothers' pockets, man.
I don't give a fuck what they make. I'm just telling you what I would not do.
You would, though. If you was a billionaire running the organization, you're going to pay the people, the stars, because if you don't, another owner will.
Nah,
you don't have leverage. You don't have leverage.
Enough for me. You don't play enough for me.
He's playing this year.
Yeah, he is. That's what I'm saying. But I'm like, dog, I would have to see you lead me to a title, and
he got rings. He got rings and things.
$153 million.
That brother got rings and Finals MVPs and like
for the Clippers.
Just saying, no, that's if you have any shots to do it, that's not going to do it.
I hope to God Smitty just get hundreds of millions of dollars, and I'm down and out, and I'm just like, Smitty, man. I think Smitty will give me like $1 million or $5 million.
I'll look out for you. Yeah, long we still on the same. Long we still cool though. Long we still cool. You know, we got to change a few things.
Smitty pay everybody around this motherfucker. Smitty will pay everybody if he could.
I'm just not a selfish dude, bro. Like money, like I want money only to give me the freedom and to relieve stress, but I don't need to be the richest motherfucker in the room. So like,
me either. But when do you say you ain't gonna fuck me either?
Yeah, but I don't think Kawhi's fucking them. Like Kawhi, it's known around the league that his knee situation is like legit. He's not like Ben Simmons. I'm mentally fucked up. No, Kawhi wants to play. Kawhi is more of an old school mentality guy than you're giving him credit for. He just has an actual literal knee situation that's fucked up. So that's why they have to be careful with it. But he's been balling this year. The Clippers are rolling right now. We talked all that stuff early in the year about James Harden, Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi. You know, we were laughing at the first few games because it was looking ugly. He's like, oh, this ain't going to work. Well, they balling right now. They balling. Obviously, we know the playoffs is what matters, but you got to talk about what's going on now. So, yeah, you pay Kawhi because he's the leader. And when he's healthy, which he is right now, like you mentioned, he's a top 5 guy in the NBA. And he's a proven guy. He's proven to show you that he can lead your team to a championship. He went to Canada, Toronto. We've never talked about Toronto winning a championship ever. Even when they were really good with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, they couldn't get past LeBron. Kawhi goes there 1 year, gets a ring. Come on now. So, like, and ever since he's left San Antonio, they've been on a downward spiral. Now, we're hoping they're going to be moving up with Victor Wembanyama, but after Tim Duncan and Ginobili, when they left, Kawhi was supposed to be the successor. He left, and San Antonio did this. So, when Kawhi joins your team, you go up. When he leaves your team, you go down. That tells me something. Pay that man.
Shout out to a travesty, tragedy, and an unfortunate mishap. You should not have to worry about getting killed at a football game as a fan. I've been to many Dodgers and Giant games in baseball. for everybody out there that don't realize, the San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers have a heated rivalry, which is basically turns into a lot of gang affairs between the North and the South, especially the Hispanic population, the Sorrentos and the Norteños. If you don't know anything about California gang life, then you don't know. But this happens a lot in baseball between the Dodgers and the Giants. It happened there in Buffalo against Miami. In Miami, you had a horrible situation. So rest in peace for whatever happened and whatever why it happened. I don't know. But you should not have to die at a fucking sporting event. Like,
how's that even happen? Like, how did they even get
where are we
that
at?
close to the damn...
Where are we at? I don't get it. I don't get it. There's a poll question out here Bailey's gonna put up. Shout out to my main man Alan, who played for me. He's putting it on Twitter right now. Who you rather have as a coach? Alan's killing me. This is gonna go crazy when I retweet it. Shout out to Alan. JUCO Frenzy. Follow JUCO Frenzy. JUCO Football Frenzy. Yeah, you guys make your own choice.
What y'all gonna do? I'm not voting. It's for the chat. It's for the chat. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm going with JB. Y'all know that. Yeah, I said I wasn't gonna answer, but like what's understood don't need to be explained. Come on now. You know I don't even know Buddy. I don't even know Buddy. So I'm going with JB all day.
All right. So
look. Hey, there you go. There we go. Yes, sir. See, Keith, he wants to be coached up. That's why I fuck with Keith. He a little younger. Like, he says some crazy shit, but he's a good dude. He wants to be better. Come on now, JB.
All right. Let's dive into this. We got some things to dive into before we dive into our top 5 debates.
Yeah.
Want to dive into this. Bears keeping Eberflus around for Justin Fields. So they fired OC and QB coach, most offensive coaches. They kept the head coach. I thought he did a decent job there. I'm glad they kept the guy. I think he deserves to stay there. I'm tired of seeing coaches 1 and 2 and done when you can't ever build anything 1 and 2 years. I'm just telling you straight out. Not when you have to rebuild a culture and everything else like that. So the question I throw at you, Smitty, is this a tactic to keep Justin Fields or to get rid of Justin Fields? That is the question, the $1 million question nobody knows, because do you hire new coordinators per Justin Fields' request, or are you hiring new coordinators to sign a new quarterback?
I think the reason why they kept him as a head coach, Eberflus, and they get a new offensive coordinator is to develop Justin Fields further. I think that's what it is. That's what it was, man. And that's just my opinion. I think they saw some things towards the last 5-6 games of the year that showed a lot of progress in Justin Fields. And if you put him in the right system, that he can truly be successful and they can win games. People forget the Bears went to the playoffs with Mitch Trubisky. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not so far-fetched that Justin Fields can't become I'm not even saying like a star, but just like a good middle, moderate level quarterback, put good weapons around him, get that defense playing, top 10, and this team could be a very serviceable, like, competitive team in the NFL. I loved your idea, JB. You talked about getting what's my man that was with Lamar, offensive coordinator? Roman. You get Greg Roman, you get him over there with Justin Fields, bro. Like, you can't tell me those guys couldn't compete over there in the North, over there in the NFC. So I think this is a telltale sign that they're keeping Justin Fields. They're going to move forward with him. They don't want to start over. Everyone's saying Caleb Williams is a lock to be all this and that. You don't know what these kids are going to be. I know a lot of guys who can just throw the ball great. You know what I'm saying? They said the same thing about Trevor Lawrence, and he's been solid, but can we be honest? Has he been at the level that we thought he would be at? He was recruited like this guy was just the man. He was the next Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning. He's nowhere near that, at least to this point. So my point in saying that, I'm not trying to diss Trevor Lawrence. I'm just saying you never really know with these things. All we're doing is guessing on potential. And there's so much to football. And I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it again. There's so much to football outside of just the tangible skills that you see, the arm strength, the accuracy, the wow plays where you see Caleb jump in the air and throw a bullet. Like I went and watched the Utah USC game. He had a crazy sideline throw that I was like, man, that's incredible to make that type of throw. So I get the talent, but in the NFL at the highest level, the mental game, the toughness, the getting hit, getting back up, the managing your money properly, dealing with, there's so much more you got to deal with than just the skill set. That there's none of these guys are a lock. You got a guy who's been in the franchise the last few years. He has been getting better. You put the right pieces around this kid, he can be special too. Justin Fields was a great quarterback in college as well. Let's not forget that. Justin Fields was a great college quarterback, big arm, all the thing. I'm not saying he was as great as Caleb was, because obviously he didn't win Heisman, but he was a top tier guy at the same time. So it's not like, why start over when you already got a similar talent already there? That's my whole thing.
We're on the same page. I agree. I just don't like any of these freshmen or these rookie quarterbacks. I don't like any of them. So, all right, let me ask you this. Amari Cooper's back. He says for the Texan playoff game, he would be a big-time fantasy pick for me. I think he goes off. I think they beat Houston down. I think Flacco's on a mission as a 40-whatever-year-old off the couch. I think that defense travels. I think that run game travels. And I think that this is a bad matchup for Houston. I love what they've done there. I love C.J. Stroud's performance this year. Tank Dell's my kid. He's got hurt. I think it would help them in this game. But Nico Johnson or Brown, or what's his name? I don't think it's enough. Noah Brown, Nico Johnson. Yeah. I don't think they're enough. I think
is it Nico Collins?
Nico Collins and Noah Brown. Yeah. I don't think they're enough. I don't think it's enough to beat this Cleveland team.
Would you be shocked though if CJ Stroud just goes off through 3-4, you know what I'm saying? So I'm with you. I'm picking the Browns, but I wouldn't be shocked if CJ has a game.
Yeah.
And they end up beating. You know what I'm saying? So
I say, Smitty, since tomorrow's Friday, I think we need to save the top 5 players to start a franchise with debate.
I like that.
We'll have more time, and we got 10 minutes left, and we got some other things we could do for the last 10 minutes of the show. Pound the like button, subscribe, become a member if you're not one. Let's do. I want to do this real talk or jaw jacking. And here's a top 5 list that I do want to throw out there. I used to ask my coaches all the time, hey, if you could listen to one coach or clinic with a coach right now, who is it? And all my staff would go around, Nick Saban, Pete Carroll, Urban Meyer, blah, blah, blah. And they asked me, and I said, it would be Gino Auriemma. And everybody like, yeah, why? Girls basketball coach.
UConn. No,
Gino Auriemma, who I got to meet and talk to, is so if John Wooden was alive, he'd be one. Right. And it's a basketball coach again. And Phil Jackson is in my top 5 as well. So there's basketball coaches in my top 5 all over the place, by the way. And I've got to speak to the Sabans and the Pete Carrolls of the world. I've got to meet these guys and talk to them about certain things. So it'd be a guy that I want to sit down with, be Gino Auriemma. I love everything he stands for. I love what he's done. I love what he's done at UConn, obviously being probably the best women's basketball coach of all time. Real talk or jaw jacking, he recently sat down and said this.
A hard time watching high school kids play or younger kids play because they're more talented than ever. They're better athletes than ever. They can do more things than kids 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But they're not better basketball players. This coach or that system has them playing 6 games on Saturday, and they practice once that week. It's totally opposite of what they do in Europe, where you will practice 6 days and you will play once. So you wonder why all these kids coming from Europe, they say, well, why are they so fundamentally sound? Why can they all dribble? They can all pass. They can all shoot. Doesn't matter whether they're 5'10" or 6'10", because they practice. They don't play games. Here, it's all about how many games are we going to play, and then are we going to practice this week? Like I coached the boys AAU team, okay? My son was on it. We had 5 Division I players on it. We had 3 kids that went pro. So we went down and played in Orlando in a tournament that all the college coaches go to, and we had a chance that if we won one more game, we would finish 11th. Now, that's pretty damn good. We had them all coming back the following year. 2 of the kids said, I'm not playing. I said, why not? I said, well, I'm playing on another team. Why? Well, it turns out we practice every Tuesday and Thursday like clockwork. Well, the other coach told them, you don't have to practice, just show up for games. Coaches are feeding into this because guess what? A lot, I'm not saying all of them, but so many of the coaches that coach don't have any idea how to be a good coach. It's not even their fault. So they don't even know how to coach the kids. They don't know how to develop skill development.
Real talk or jaw jacking? Because I mean, we speak the same language, so you know where I'm headed. What do you think about this? I think it's the same in football, though. I don't think there's any difference. I think it's exactly what I've been saying all morning long. I think it's exactly what I've been saying forever with the 7-on-7 and all this other shit. Coaches allow kids to miss practice, miss class, still start them instead of teach them. This is not how it goes. And this is just what I feel. I think it's all real talk. I love the guy. I think he's the greatest women's basketball coach of all time. And he could be easily a men's basketball coach, obviously. So that's what I feel.
I'm gonna go real talk. I mean, I can't argue with someone who's, one of the greatest. You know what I'm saying? And he does it. He's like you said, I coach AAU with my son. I coach at the professional level with the ladies. So I can't argue with that guy when he's actually in the field. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I see it too, though. I mean, a lot of these coaches, especially at that level, all they care about is winning. So it's like, whatever I got to do to make this player come here and be happy, I'm willing to do it. If I got to do something illegal, if I got to say, all right, don't practice, if I got to pay under the table, if I got whatever I got to do. So it just, these leaders are enabling the kids. And if you give a kid the opportunity to not practice or not do this or not do that, most kids, because you're young and you're not thinking about the bigger picture, you're going to accept that. Why wouldn't I? If my leader is saying I don't have to do it, then cool, I'm not going to do it then. So it takes a real coach, a real leader to steer these kids in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So that they're, not just for your current AAU team, thinking big picture of the long-term effect that this kid not practicing today and having the easy way out right now, how that can impact that kid when he's in college or pros or just even in the real world when he's done playing basketball or football, how that can affect the mentality. So I just think we don't have enough leaders who are patient enough right now to truly build the kid. They want the kid to just benefit them right now and then, all right, on to the next. It's really a selfish mindset when you think about it. They're just thinking about themselves and how you as a kid can benefit me right now in this exact moment. I don't care about your development. And it's a shame.
It is. We got some white people shit for you.
Ooh, my favorite segment, man. White people shit.
Racist. Brought to you by betonline.ag.
Show the bread.
Promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV. Get you 50% off plus welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts. Let's start with this one.
Bet you didn't know you could make steak like this. Place your steak into a jar. Grab some onion and dice it. Add to the jar with garlic and fresh rosemary. A little bit of cherry tomatoes if you like, and season to taste. Add olive oil, seal your jar, and give it a good shake. Place a towel into an empty pot, place in your jar, and cover with water. Now turn up the heat and simmer for 1 hour. After that hour, remove your jar, grab your dinner, and cut yourself a delicious bite. So easy and so good.
See, shit like that pisses me off. That's how we bring in new diseases here in the country. You know what I mean? Like, certain stuff just be West Nile. What the hell is West Nile? Where'd that come from? Like, just certain things just be popping up. It's because y'all be just experimenting shit in the kitchen that don't make sense. You gonna put a fucking steak in a ball jar, glass jar, throw some random shit in there and just put it on top of the stove? That pisses me off because kids are watching you, the future chefs, the future people who going to be cooking for their husbands in the kitchen are watching your video right now, and they're taking notes, and they're thinking that this is the way to go. And you out here playing games. I don't play no games with my food. I take food very seriously, JB. You know that. You see me come in your house, and you saw how I get down. I eat a lot of food, JB. I take it seriously. And you put a steak in a damn jar? Man, take it away, JB. Piss me off, man. Bullshit.
I can't even. Let's go another white people shit. We got more white people shit.
Nah, that was scary at first. I was like,
it fucked people up though.
I'm like, why are we showing this? I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, are they gonna land or what?
I would have fucked you up with that. I know. I'd have got your ass. Got him.
That was a good one. I like that.
All right, now we got some black people shit. Can we get the logo for our BPS segment brought to you by Prize Picks and Mint Mobile? And Big Smitty is going to take it away. Black people shit brought to you by Big Smitty.
Black
Here we go.
people can't play basketball, or BCPB affects 1 out of every 10,000 black guys, and nobody's talking about that shit. We can't even play the basketball video games.
It's a very rare condition in our community, but it does happen, and I've came across a handful of cats as well. I wouldn't put myself in that category. I think I'm just solid enough. I'm solid enough to get past it, but I've definitely came across my fair share of my brothers who have suffered this. And there are treatments out there to kind of help you not become a full basketball player, but to help you improve and deal with the symptoms. So T's and P's up for all my brothers, with that condition.
Big Smitty, we're gonna play a game. We're going to play a game that I found very, very interesting. I'm curious to see if it's true. All right?
All right.
They say if you put your shoe size and add 2 zeros minus the year you were born plus the year you're on, you should get this number, and the last 2 digits is your age or how old you should be turning this year.
Can we do that?
All right. Can you play it again, though? Because I forgot everything you fucking just said.
All right, so we're going to take our shoe size. I'm a 13. I'm going to put 13, and then you're going to put your shoe size, right? So give me your shoe size.
Damn, it's kind of tough. I wear 13 and a half.
We're going to go 13.
Let's go.
I wear 14 or 13.
I wear 14 or 13 and a half, though. So
yeah, me too.
Should we go 14, probably?
Huh?
Should we go 14, you think?
I don't know. Let's do 13. Let's see if it works.
Let's try 13 first, and maybe we try 14 next.
So you take your shoe size.
Yep.
They say if you put your shoe size and add 2 zeros.
So it's 1,300.
Yep.
Okay.
Minus the year you were born.
What year were you born?
1994.
Okay.
Plus the year you're on.
Plus 2024.
2024. All right.
You should get this number, and the last 2 digits is your age or how old you should be turning this year.
Hey, I swear to God, I'm turning 30 next week. My birthday is next week. My birthday is next week.
Homie. Hold up, though. Do mine. Do me.
All right, hold on. So 13, add 2 zeros.
Hold on. By the way, I turned 48 in February.
Okay, so 13 answers. We got 1,300.
Minus 1976.
God damn, you old as fuck. 1976.
Plus 2024.
And you say you turning what? When?
48 next month.
Motherfucker, if you say that again.
Hell no. Hell no.
That is insane.
Try your shit with size 14.
Well, it can't work then, right? It'd be
I don't know if it worked, though.
There's no way it could work. So maybe I'm not really a 14. Because I don't wear, I'm usually 13 and a half. That's my perfect size. But shoes are weird. Sometimes you go 14.
Look, it worked for everybody in here. How is that possible? It worked for everybody in the chat.
Nah, it's almost pissing me off, bro. There's no.
It worked for Bailey, and Bailey turns 22.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
All right, hell yeah, hell no, Smitty.
Wow.
Real quick.
Send me that video when you get a chat. I gotta send it to everybody in my group chat. Please, send me that back.
All right, here we go. Hell yeah, hell no. Your camera blurry as hell, by the way. Hell yeah, hell no.
You paid for the camera.
Hell yeah, hell no. Pete Carroll coaches again.
Hell yeah, he's definitely coaching. If Harbaugh don't leave Michigan or he goes somewhere else, the Chargers job will be right there open for the take for Pete Carroll. If he don't go there, he'll go somewhere. He might go to Washington, bring Kirk Cousins back to Washington with those weapons at receiver. Ooh, you forgot Kirk Cousins was a free agent, didn't you? So hell yeah.
All right, I say hell yeah as well. I wouldn't be shocked if he's a head coach by this week. Hell yeah, hell nah. Hockey is more exciting than baseball.
Hell yeah. I mean, exciting, yeah.
White people about to be hot. Those are the two most fucking sports I don't watch.
But hockey's like faster. There's fights. There's like
in person. Hockey's fire.
I ain't been there yet. I'm planning on going to
go.
a
White people shit. White people shit, but you gotta go. Yeah, it's white people shit, but you gotta go to that.
My bucket list. That and a soccer game too. I do want to go to
LAFC game. Kings are in first place, I think. Hell yeah, hell nah. Vrabel becomes the new coach in Seattle.
Ooh, shit.
Yeah, see, that's another one. I like that a lot.
But your Patriots take it so. I'm gonna say hell yeah. I actually like Seattle a lot better than Patriots, even for him. Like Steve was saying earlier, they have a foundation. It's a better crew. Like they're young. I say hell yeah. That's a great fit actually.
Hell yeah. I say hell yeah. It's a great fit. Hell yeah. Hell nah. Dan Lanning will be Alabama's head coach by tomorrow.
That's what the streets are saying. They said, but they were saying the same thing about Urban Meyer. We see Urban Meyer off the plains at Michigan State, and it didn't happen. I'm gonna say hell no. Man, because I think Bama wants a little bit more time. They want to see if Kirby Smart would leave and come through. They want to see if Urban Meyer want to give it one more shot. I think they want to. You got to get this pick right. You can't make a choice that quick. They got to be quick because they, recruiting all that, but it can't be that quick. I say hell no.
Hell yeah, hell nah. I'm gonna say hell yeah. Hell yeah, hell nah. Oregon's new coach will be Pete Carroll.
As great as that would be, hell no. I think Pete is staying in the NFL. I truly believe that.
I agree. I'm gonna try to type. Let's see if something happened in here because I'm just getting some information here. Let's see. Dan Lanning's announced he's staying at Oregon.
Stop playing.
Yep.
I'm like fucking Nostradamus. You just asked me 25 seconds ago. Hell yeah, hell no. I said hell no. Something just told me, listen, y'all, this is a prime example. Go with your gut. Always go with your gut, man. That's why I like. Is this that $90 million? Is that accurate? No, that
what?
Accurate. That's probably some bullshit. Now I saw something about 90 million.
This is something. I'm hearing they're going to name a coach today. If Lanning's truly saying no, then I would have to lean towards Kirby Smart or Sark. I'm just going to be honest.
We going to see, man. I'm not even guessing no more. We going to see. It's going to be exciting. Hopefully the news breaks today, so tomorrow's show going to be just as loaded as today. We had 1,100 on a Thursday, which is kind of rare for it. Usually we average between, anywhere between 700 and 900, like Wednesday through Friday, and usually Monday and Tuesday is our big week, our big day. So to get 1,100 on a Thursday, man, shout out to everybody in this chat, man. John Doe, Kanye Gardner, Ron, Jared, TJ Too Nasty, Daniel Capson, you know what I'm saying? We got like one or two ladies in here. Appreciate y'all. And man, we're gonna have a loaded show tomorrow too, JB. You scared?
Yeah,
you look nervous.
Friday, Jeff Nadu, Big Matt McChesney, and maybe special guest, my main man Adrian Clem, who's been the O-line coach for the New England Patriots. He's been for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was at Oregon last year with Dan Lanning. He's been all over the place. My hood homie Compton in the house. Pound that like, subscribe, become a member. We're back tomorrow in about 20 hours, God permitting. And we'll be there. Smitty getting ready for Fox. And it's windy out here in SoCal. It's cold in SoCal.
It's freezing.
Where the hardest cats get drugged through the mud. Not like Naptown. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
We switched it and filled the gap. Smitty and Jason Brown, we killed it, yeah, it's a wrap. We want the games we missing, we switched it and filled the gap.
You are now tuned in to the Coach JB Show.